Yo, yo, yo.
Hidden in the dark corners of our world are rituals that allow users to speak with otherworldly beings, summon demons, and risk their lives. These rituals come in all shapes, from urban legends you've heard since you were a child to the world of creepypastas and internet horror. Rituals play a big part in the internet horror collective. Candles, mirrors, televisions, anything can be used in a ritual. Many of these will bring you good luck or fortune, while others will bring you pain and misery. It's all about how you approach them. I've scoured every inch of the internet, and even my local library, to bring you all the rituals that inhabit our world. This is the complete disturbing ritual pasta iceberg explained. The dark reflection ritual is a very simple ritual. The things you'll need are a mirror,
Hey,
candle,
what's up,
and
Badger?
friends, a lot of which are optional.
Yeah.
Just about everyone has heard that
Happy
breaking a mirror
Fireworks
is
Day.
bad luck, but no one really knows why. The reason is because mirrors capture all of our negative energy every time we look into them. This means that if you have a mirror that is a family heirloom, or one that you use every day, then that mirror is going to contain more of your negative energy in it. This makes the mirror the most important part of the ritual. The first thing you need to do is stare into the eyes of your reflection for a few seconds. This will transfer the rest of your negative energy before you begin. Then you must lean forward and breathe onto the mirror and fog it up. This is done to link yourself to the mirror and thus the negative energy. After that is done, you need to light the candle and hold it up to the mirror. You need to leave a burn mark on the mirror. This agitates the negative energy. The burn doesn't need to be severe, just a black spot is enough. The longer you hold the candle to the mirror, the more agitated the negative energy will become. The final step is to break the mirror. This will release the negative energy, and you'll want to immediately leave the area. Normally, the negative energy would only stay in the proximity of the broken mirror, but since you've done
This is what you need to do to do an actual
If you've done this
ritual.
ritual alone, then all the negative energy will now be following you.
These are descriptions of how to do the actual
So that the
rituals.
negative energy is dispersed amongst everyone and therefore weaker. The negative energy will manifest itself as bad luck. At first, the incidents will be
These
small
are
and stale,
actual
a chipped nail or a
rituals.
flat tire, but will slowly escalate. Finally, they'll get to life-threatening levels. No matter how many people conducted this ritual, there will
Yeah, the
always end at
mirror
this
is
level for
it's the
everyone.
Jesuit mirror, right?
If you survive the night, the dawn will dissipate any remaining negative energy, and you'll be free from it. Now, you might be asking why anyone would attempt this ritual. Well, with the dissipation of the negative energy and bad luck will come a period of good luck. Say you're about to take a final exam and just needed a little luck for it. Those who have done this ritual have reported being blessed with good luck beyond what they expected. Those who you are attracted to will suddenly also start to show interest. That job interview? Well, you just nailed it. So, what's stopping you from trying this? The Holders is about a set of cursed objects and those that seek them out. There are a total of 538 objects, but there used to be more before they were lost. The idea is simple. One must simply only go to a special institution and it can challenge a holder for the object. Each trial varies from object to object, but all are pretty horrifying. Failing the acquisition of any object is usually fatal. Just as each object's trial is different, so are the effects of said object.
Hey, have
Some
a
are
good
pretty
night.
useful, while others are clearly designed only for malicious intent. This makes each item something to fear. The objects must never come together. It's said that if they ever did all come together, that it could mean the end of the world. The objects, as powerful as they are not able to coalesce without help. The objects then entice people to search them out. The ones that do are known as seekers, and they seek the objects for various reasons. The main three are for power, reunion, or for separation. Their reasons may be their own, but most are changed by their quest. The seekers are those that seek out the objects of power, while those that have them are called the holders. A seeker can enter any holder's domain and take a trial for the object. Sometimes if they fail, they will take the holder's place. Other times they will be trapped forever. The most common outcome, though, is death. The Raven Man ritual is a summoning ritual for the Raven Man. He is said to look mostly like a man, but with wings for arms. He is also said to have completely white eyes. The Raven Man can be summoned to answer a question or do something for the person who summoned him. In order to summon the Raven Man, you'll need 5 candles, salt, a knife or needle, and a talisman of protection. The talisman can be anything that can be used for such things, but mostly these objects are religious or deeply personal. You must then draw a circle of salt on the floor. The candles should be lit after lining them up. The final candle must be lit with some blood from the person doing the summoning. This is what the needle or knife is for. While lighting these candles, the user must speak an incantation. If all that is done correctly, the Raven Man will appear within the circle of salt. Sometimes you'll be able to see the Raven Man standing in the salt circle, but more often than not, you'll only feel his presence. You can then make a request to the Raven Man. You can ask him a question or make a request of him. The Raven Man will answer or do what you asked. Once that is done, you must then thank the Raven Man for his time. For the final part of the ritual, you'll need to snuff out each candle individually and repeat, "I release you, Raven Man." Make sure to blow out the candles, and only snuff them out with your fingers or a snuffer. Clean up the salt and take it to any doors that lead outside of your house. Dump the salt in front of any entryways to your home. Make sure to keep your object of protection close to you, even as you sleep. If you don't, the Raven Man may come and ask you for a favor. You don't want to do any favors for the Raven Man.
The black phone ritual. Right,
The
Badger.
black phone ritual is one that requires some harder to find objects than some other rituals on this iceberg. First off, you'll need to get a black rotary dial phone. These can be pretty hard to come by these days, but you can go to a thrift store or try eBay and see what your options are. You also need 2 black cords. Each should be about 40 centimeters, a piece of paper and a pen, and finally a watch. First thing you'll do is tie the handset of the phone as tightly as you can. Second, check to make sure there's no light that can enter the room. Close all windows with curtains and turn off all lights in other rooms. It is advised to keep a light on near where you put the black phone. Once everything is set up, you'll need to dial 204-060-80 and then return the handset to its resting position. Lift it again and dial 255-158-23 and leave the handset lying off the hook. You have to be as quiet as possible and make your way to each room and close the door behind you. You should have 4 rooms that you'll need to close the doors of. At the last door, you'll need to enter the room and close the door. Tie a double H-shaped knot on the doorknob. Open your eyes in the dark room, but don't speak. Head over to the window of the room and peer out. You can't see anything because the windows are now blacked out.
Exactly, Badger.
Once you're ready to end the ritual, you'll need to find an 8-digit number that should be lying somewhere in this room.
Exactly.
Grab it and write it down. Memorize it as well. You'll need to grab hold of the knot you made, close your eyes, and repeat the 8-digit number over and over again in your mind. You still can't speak during this part. Remember to also keep your eyes closed, even if you feel something tugging on you. If you hear voices or sounds, do not respond and keep repeating the number. Do it a dozen times. After that, you can get up and check the window again. If you can safely see outside again, congratulations, you made it back. If not, then you have to do this last step over again. Once back in the normal world,
Oh my
you'll
God.
need to burn that piece of paper with the number on it. Then place it in a satchel and keep it with you. From now on, you'll be more privy to the supernatural. You'll experience more strange occurrences. None of these will be good though, so play at your own risk.
I hope you guys can hear this video that I'm sharing. The complete disturbing ritual creepypasta iceberg video. Hold on, there's a bunch of ads, so bear with us. We'll skip through them. Now it's the Bloody Mary ritual. Listen to this shit.
Bloody Mary is a very popular ritual conducted here in the US. It is probably one of the first things I think of when I think of rituals. The ritual is simple and ties very heavily to children, as they're the demographic for it. Bloody Mary is an entity that exists in a world beyond our mirrors. To see Bloody Mary, you just have to say her name 3 times in front of a mirror in a dimly lit or totally dark room. You can be alone or with a group. The Bloody Mary ritual is very popular with preteens. The game doesn't give you anything in return, other than seeing the figure in the mirror. This was done more as a test of courage than a ritual to obtain knowledge, luck, or power. After you say her name 3 times in front of the mirror, it said that she will appear. There's a few interpretations of what will
Dude, I
happen after you
swear to
see
God,
her.
I never did this
Some say that
ritual.
she
This
will
shit's
curse you for the rest of
creepy
your
and weird
life,
as
or
fuck.
7 years as if you broke the mirror. Other interpretations say that she will claw out the eyes of anyone who summons her. Others claim that she will simply appear and scare everyone. The final claim is that she will pull those that summon her into the mirror world with her. Bloody Mary is a game that just about anyone can play, so why not give it a try?
Tulpa. The Tulpa ritual.
Tulpa is a ritual that requires a strong mind and imagination. A tulpa is an object or being created purely through the power of thought. It is believed by some that only those with psychic abilities are the main people who can create tulpas. Tulpa is also the name of a classic era creepypasta, the focus being on a man who needs a job and finds one in a testing facility. At the testing facility, they ask if he can spend his time trying to manifest his tulpa, or an imaginary version of himself. The test starts off as you expect, with nothing more than him just imagining himself standing in the room. Eventually, he's able to imagine his tulpa doing more things and existing beside him. The test continues, and the man is perfectly able to manifest his tulpa. The scientists start adding in disturbing music to distract him and see if he's still able to manifest his tulpa. He continues, and is in complete control of his tulpa, for a while at least. Eventually, he starts to manifest his tulpa when he's not at the lab, and has conversations with it. The tulpa remembers everything that's happened in his life. Every page of a book he read, every conversation he's ever had, and even starts showing signs that it knows and remembers more than the man himself. After a while, the tulpa convinces the man that he doesn't really need anyone besides it. The man slowly lets go of all of his connections to the real world and only talks to his tulpa and the scientists. After an argument with a friend, where the man's tulpa convinces him to punch him, the man decides he's done with his tulpa. He stops imagining it and tries to move past it altogether. It works. He's able to return to a mostly normal life. The man plans to tell the scientists that he can't follow through with the experiment any longer, but when he shows up to the lab, they drug him. The man is tied to a table and given some sort of drug concoction that forces him to manifest his tulpa. As the man fades in and out of consciousness, he swears that he hears the scientists talking to his tulpa. The tulpa also looked different. It didn't look like him anymore. It had long teeth and claws. It didn't even look human. The story ends with the tulpa killing the man's sister, the last person he had any connection to. Now he worries that the tulpa might be coming for him next. Tulpas outside of this story are seen as possibly malevolent, though there are more stories that point to it becoming as evil as the thoughts of a deluded man. In a story by spiritualist Alexander David Neal, she says that a tulpa with enough life force will become its own being. She claims to have created a tulpa that resembles a Friar Tuck-like monk. The tulpa became its own thing, but later had to be destroyed for reasons she doesn't specify. I could honestly make an entire video on what tulpas are and their cultural relevance, so I'm going to move on. Just remember that thoughts have power, and some may be more powerful than you can imagine.
The elevator game.
The elevator game, or Elevator to a Different World, is a game that originated in South Korea. The popularity of the game skyrocketed in late 2016 and even had another trend jump in 2021. The game is pretty simple. You need to go to a building with an elevator with at least 10 floors. You must enter the elevator either alone or with other players only. If there's another person in the elevator that isn't playing, then it won't work. Press the button to get to the 4th floor, but don't get out here. Then go to the 2nd floor, followed by the 6th floor, then the 2nd floor, and then the 10th floor. Do not get out on any of these floors, but make sure no one that is playing gets out on any of these floors either. Then go to the 5th floor. There, a young woman could come into the elevator with you. Do not speak or look at her. If you do, dire things could happen to you. Place in the middle. Let's make this what counts. Deck is packed with extra spots. Dire things could happen to you. Conflicting reports of what she does to you are, well, conflicting. Then, press the button for the 1st floor. If the elevator goes to the 10th floor instead, remain on the elevator, you're still in the game. If you press the 1st floor button and the elevator goes to the 1st floor, then exit the moment the doors open. Do not speak or look back, you need to stop the game immediately. If all goes to plan and you reach the 10th floor, you can choose to get off or stay. If you choose to get off, the woman from step 4 may ask you a question and may even call your name. Do not answer her. Now you have reached the other world. To know for sure, you'll see that you are alone, or your group of players are all alone. When you're ready to return to the regular world, you'll need to do a few more steps. Firstly, return to the exact elevator you used before. Press the buttons in the same order as before, but end on the 5th floor. Once on the 5th floor, you must press the button to go to the 1st floor. The elevator will start to move to the 10th floor, but whatever you do, don't let it get to the 10th floor. Stop the elevator by clicking any other floor. Then click the button for the 1st floor again. Once the elevator reaches the 1st floor, check your surroundings to make sure nothing is amiss. If everything seems normal, you may leave the elevator. If not, you must return to step 2 and start all over again. The things that you can do in the other world aren't listed. The beings you may find there can vary greatly as well. It's best not to try this ritual, as entering the other world could bring something back with you. Players have reported the woman from the elevator following them home. Other reports have stated that she will kidnap players and take them back with her to the other world for unknown reasons. Either way, would you really want to take that risk?
The 3 Kings ritual.
The 3 Kings ritual is one that takes a lot of
This
precise
dude,
setup.
this shit gets
It
weird.
allows you
as
access to
fuck.
another universe
All
where you may
these
ask any
actual
questions
rituals.
you like. If you want to attempt this ritual, this is what you'll need. A large, empty, and quiet room, preferably without windows, as you'll need the room to have 0 light coming into it. Basements are highly recommended, but if you do have windows, you can just cover them completely. You'll need a candle and a lighter, a
Badger,
fan, a bucket
dude,
of water,
those videos
and a
are
mug,
fucking
2 large mirrors,
hilarious.
3 chairs, an alarm
I'll
clock,
show
a
them.
cell
I
phone,
promise you,
someone to
I
help
will
if things
show
do go
them.
bad, and a small trinket that holds sentimental value to you.
But we're going through
You'll
the
have to begin setting up
rituals.
around 11 p.m. Firstly, arrange the chairs in your desired room.
We're trying
with
to
the chair
learn
that you'll
about
be sitting
these
in facing
rituals that
north.
the quack's talking about.
Place the other 2 chairs in front of the first chair at an angle and exactly 1 arm reach away. You'll then place the mirrors on the chairs and make sure you can vaguely see your reflection if you stared straight ahead. You want to be able to see your reflection out of the corner of your eye only. Place a bucket of water just about an arm's reach away and a fan behind the chair you'll be sitting in. Set your alarm for 3:30
Think about
a.m.
it.
and make
Like,
sure to charge
imagine
yourself up.
yourself doing the ritual,
You then need to just sleep and wake up at exactly 3:30 a.m.
using the
Look up to your
calculator,
alarm, grab your
doing the
sentimental object,
ritual.
and head straight for your chosen room. Light your candle and sit down, making sure the candle doesn't go out. You should check straight ahead and not look directly into either mirror. Now the game can begin. The chairs represent the king, the queen, and the fool. It'll be your job to figure out which mirror is which. You can ask any questions you want. Will you get that job promotion? Is the world going to end soon? What is the meaning of life? The question will be answered by either side. Some questions you may ask can also be asked back at you. The beings inside the mirror seem to know everything about you, and will make sure you know that. The game lasts for an hour and a minute. Once that's over, you can freely leave the room. In a moment before, though, the exception being that you were pulled from the game by the person you had watched over you during your time conducting the ritual. When setting up this ritual, if anything seems wrong before you start, then abandon the ritual. If your alarm doesn't go off at exactly 3:30 a.m., if the door to your chosen room is closed when you left it open, if the fan inside the room is turned off, if any of these things happen, abandon the ritual, take your stuff, and leave your house. The things inside of the mirror may have found a way out. You'll be safe to return after 6 a.m. Before then, you may find yourself being dragged into their world.
Local matters. Who you hire matters. The ritual.
The man in the fields ritual.
The Man in the
Yikes.
Fields ritual is a ritual pasta that has you being
Yikes.
challenged for a decent reward. This ritual pasta was uploaded to the Creepypasta wiki by Rot the Mayor and was uploaded in 2014. Creepypasta begins with a history lesson. The ritual has been played throughout the centuries and was used by farmers as a way to protect themselves and their homes. It feels like a way to appease an ancient god of some sort. The things you will need for this ritual are very specific. You will need a house in the countryside, technically not needed, but only those kinds of houses have ever completed the ritual fully and correctly. You could use your backyard, but it likely isn't big enough. You'll also need a candle, a crucifix, and a watch. Make sure that no one is around and it is dark around. Usually people like to start around 9. Go outside and whisper, but who will scare the crows away? 7 times. You should hear a voice behind you say, that's not your biggest problem. Next, walk back to your house without looking behind you at the field. Close the door as you enter. The ritual has officially begun, and you'll notice that everything in your house is now open. Every window, every door, every cupboard, bag, and anything else that can be opened is. You have to close everything before midnight in order to win this ritual, so you should get to it. Firstly, though, you need to find a room with only one entrance and place the crucifix inside. This will be your safe room, and you will definitely need it. Place the crucifix and make sure everything in that room is closed before moving on to the rest of the house. Out of the corner of your eye, you will see a gray man in old farmer clothes. This isn't the man in the fields, but instead a referee of sorts for this game. You shouldn't look at him, and instead continue closing everything in the house. If you just so happen to look out towards your fields, you see a scarecrow of sorts, one that you didn't place there. A tall, gangly gray man with a cow skull where his head should be. This is the man in the fields, and he is missing his head, which makes yours the perfect replacement. Do not look at him no matter what. If you see him, then he'll see you. He will slowly climb off his post and make his way towards the house. No matter how fast you were closing everything, it'll only take him a minute to reach the house. So instead, keep your eyes focused on the task at hand. If you successfully manage to close everything, then head to sleep. If you were correct and everything was closed, you'll get 1 year of protection from harm. This can also extend to being fiscally protected. If you weren't correct and something was left open, the man in the fields will have found his way inside your home. No one will hear from you ever again. The man from the fields kind of reminds me of one of my favorite creepypastas, The Thing That Stalks the Fields. That was one of my favorite creepypastas when I first discovered the genre. It's one that I think about from time to time. This one is a similar creature in the fields, but executes on it completely differently, which is fine. I actually like both creepypastas. This one keeps the ritual hard enough that it would be worth the reward, but also pretty dangerous. A pretty good read overall. The bath game is a very popular game that originated in Japan. The bath game also goes by another
bath
name.
game, really? The
Daruma-san.
bath game ritual?
This game only requires a bathroom with a bathtub. To start, you must remove all of your clothing and climb into the bath after making sure all of the lights are off and
Really?
the door is closed. Begin washing yourself while facing the faucet with your eyes closed. Repeat the phrase, Daruma-san fell down.
Yeah, the
Don't start
yeah,
repeating this until you
exactly,
finish washing
Badger.
your
It's
hair.
the fucking
Also,
Gematriah
make sure to keep
razor
your eyes
blade
closed.
bathtub ritual.
As you finish washing your hair, you'll imagine a woman standing in the bathtub. She'll fall down and hit her head on the rusty faucet.
Razor
The faucet will
blades
go
in
through
the
her eye,
bathtub.
killing her.
Quack!
You will then feel the ghost's presence. You have to say, "Why did you fall in the bathtub?" After that,
It's the
you may leave the
bathtub
bathtub yourself.
ritual.
Do not drain the water.
The
And
rhetoric
do not
of the
open your
quack, it's
eyes.
actually the bathtub ritual.
Leave the bathroom, closing the door behind you.
Think about that.
Now you can open your eyes. Head to bed without turning on any of the lights in your home.
Razor blades
The
in
next
the
day, the game will
bathtub, your
begin.
soul. Quack.
You can feel the presence of the one-eyed ghost girl following you throughout your day. Each time you feel her, she will have gotten closer. The goal of the game is to make sure that she doesn't touch you. If you feel her getting too close, you can shout at her to stop while turning to look at her. This will stop her momentarily, giving you enough time to gain some distance. This won't work forever though, so use it sparingly. You must end the game before midnight of that same day. If you don't end the game, then Daruma-san will kill you in your sleep. To end the game, you must catch a glimpse of her and shout, "I cut you loose," while making a chopping motion with your arm. This game is very dangerous for multiple reasons. For that, I must clarify that I do not recommend anyone try this game.
The devil's game, really? Jesus Christ. Dude, these rituals are something
A
else.
lot of things that we see on people's houses is
The devil's game, really? Dude, they don't get it what I'm saying,
The
Badger.
devil's
They
game is
just
exactly
don't
what
get it.
sounds like. A ritual where you get to summon the devil and then play a game with him. This ritual, of course, comes with a bit of trepidation for most. The devil is known to cheat in almost any game he plays. This game isn't about how to sell your soul for something. No, there are other rituals for that. This one simply allows you to play a specific game with the devil. That game being the question and answer game. To start the ritual, you'll need very specific
The
items.
question and answer
full can of
game,
salt,
I mean,
better have
really?
more than less.
Really?
7 candles, red or white preferably,
Dude, that's
a
what the
lighter and
quack
matches
does.
to light those candles. A decent amount of red string, rope, yarn, or thread. And lastly, a full-length floor or wall mirror. With all of those in mind, you'll also need to find a church. The type of church doesn't matter as long as it is a practicing church.
Can you guys
You
not
also
hear
can't
it
bring
or
any religious
something?
paraphernalia with you. No crosses or the like, as the devil won't even show up if you have them. The very first step in this ritual is to sneak into your church of choice without being noticed. If you get caught, it would end very poorly for you and whoever found you. So you'll probably need to sneak in at night and hope they have a mirror already, because it's a bit hard to sneak in with such a thing. Once you made it into the church, find a room that is large enough for you to start setting up. You can use the main hall, a side room, or even a closet. It just needs enough room for everything. Make a circle with the salt around your mirror, making sure not to break the circle at all. If your mirror is against a wall, a semicircle will do. Start to wrap the mirror with your red string or whatever you brought. This will bind the devil to the mirror for a period of time. Now take your candles and place them around your salt circle at even intervals. They don't need to be perfect, but close enough. You want to make sure they are stable as well. You don't want one falling over. Once everything is set up, you'll have to do some sacrilegious act in the church to show your resolve. The easiest thing to do is turn a cross upside down. There are other things you could do, but it's the easiest as you can just fix it on your way out. If you survive, that is. Turn off all the lights and light your candles. Make sure all of the doors and windows to your room are closed. The room should only be lit by the candles now. Approach the mirror and imagine the devil is looking at you from the mirror. Concentrate as hard as you can, then close your eyes and count to 10. When you open them, you should hopefully see the devil looking right at you. He'll appear to you not as the depictions have him. He won't be a red being with huge horns and such. He'll most likely appear to you as a human, someone attractive even. This is mainly to lull you into a false sense of security. The devil doesn't want to scare you off just yet. Once the devil is in sight, you'll need to challenge him to a game of question and response. The devil loves games and will accept no questions asked. Well, not yet. There are tons of rules for things not to do, but I'll get to those after I talk about how to play. Firstly, you'll both ask questions of the other and give responses. Pretty simple so far. Well, it gets more interesting. Every time you get a question right, you'll receive a correct answer from the devil. This could be a bit difficult depending on the devil's mood, as he might ask some really obscure trivia questions that you'll have no way of knowing. Getting a question wrong doesn't end the game, and so the devil is allowed to give you a wrong answer in return, though you can still tell the truth if you did get it wrong. The devil is the king of mind games after all. On the other hand, if you get a question right, he'll answer your question truthfully, or as truthfully as he can, as he's not omnipotent. Either way, you won't know if he's telling the truth or not, as he never says if the question you answered is correct. This could leave many wondering if it's even worth playing in the first place. You'll never fully know if the answers you receive are truthful or not, though aren't you dying to find out? For the most part, he'll throw rather personal questions at you, ones you think you know the answer to, but are lying to yourself about. Do you really like your best friend? Are you really confident in your career thus far? Have you lived a good life? These questions may be simple enough to answer, but if you're lying to yourself, the devil knows. He knows a lot more about you than you probably do. Thus he can lie to you all he wants, but you won't know, because you thought you answered truthfully. There are other options for this game as well. You can ask the devil a riddle, and if you can't figure out the answer, then you get a free pass on a question. Though, if the devil figures out the answer to your riddle, you might as well just quit the game early, as he gets a free pass to lie to you. This makes the game marketably more difficult, as you'll never know which question he used his free pass on. If you decide to ask the devil a riddle, make sure you make it up yourself. Any riddle that has ever been written down, he will know the answer to. It doesn't matter how obscure it is. Your riddle must have an answer that makes sense. If it doesn't, then he gets a free pass anyway.
Build it like Beckham. You know you missed this guy, right?
Hey, let's get 3 viewers. Hold on, there's a bunch of commercials, but we're sharing this research.
Answer that makes sense. If it doesn't,
About
then he gets a free pass
rituals.
anyway. The final thing you can do is a dare. A dare from the devil is a very scary thing, but it's not always. Depending on his mood, the devil could ask something simple of you. Tell your friend a lie, run out in public naked, humiliate your significant other. Now these things are bad, but nowhere near as bad as they can get. For a quick rule of thumb here, the devil won't ask you to directly kill or harm anyone. Well, except maybe yourself, as he could ask you to cause yourself a massive amount of pain. Regardless, you won't be asked to murder in his name. The devil may ask that you do some mundane task, like writing a number on a wall or leaving strange packages around town. These questions are far more nefarious, as they are likely in relation to another evil deed he has planned, one that will likely ruin a lot of lives. The final rule of the game is that you end it before 66 minutes and 6 seconds. Yes, I know, very funny. The devil is punctual, and you should be too. So keep the game going and make sure to end it before then. You'll find out why later. To end the game, simply bow to the devil and thank him for his time. He will then disappear from the mirror. Make sure to stare into the eyes of your reflection to make sure that it is you staring back. Once you're sure, you can start to remove the wards of protection you put around the mirror in the room. Fix the cross, clean the room, and get out without being caught if you can. Take the knowledge you have learned, or not, and go back into your life. Now for the list of things you need to make sure you don't do. Always keep your eyes on the devil during your game. If you ever look away for a second, he'll vanish from the mirror. But he's not gone. He's in the room with you, and the police will be lucky to find your body in one piece the next day. Try not to give out your name if he asks. Giving the devil your name can lead to some rather unfortunate results. Your name holds power with the devil. This could be your soul leaving you. The police will probably find a completely intact body this time, though. Also, make sure to keep all your protective charms up. Don't let the candles go out, don't let the string unravel, and don't break the salt circle. The devil will have free reign if that is to happen, and you don't want that. Finally, you'll want to make sure not to go over that time limit I mentioned before. If you do, the devil will disappear from the mirror without warning. You won't even know. You'll be left with your reflection. When you try to leave, you'll see nothing but the white void. You go back and realize that only the world that was visible in the mirror exists. You'll look back at the mirror and see your own reflection smiling at you. The devil has taken your body, and he is free to use it how he pleases. He might kill one of your family members, or make an armed robbery. Whatever he has in store, it's not good. Your body will die after he's done with it at sunrise. And you'll be forever trapped in the mirror world. The funny thing about just being a soul without a body, though, you exist in a world of pure thought. Every evil, creepy, and monstrous thing you've ever thought of can become real. So every single creature of your nightmares can and will become real, and they will be after you. At least it's better than being trapped in hell, though, right?
The midnight game. Time is, it's like almost 10.
The midnight game is an old ritual that was used as a scare tactic in certain religions. That doesn't mean that it doesn't carry any actual weight, though. The game can still be played to this day, if you're brave enough, that is, though I do not recommend it. Obviously, by the name, it must be midnight in order to play this game. Starting slightly before midnight works as well. Also, it must be midnight in your time zone. You can't play it according to Japan's time when you're in the US. The items that you'll need are simple. A candle, piece of paper, pen or pencil, matches or a lighter, salt, a wooden door, and some of your blood, but not much. These items will be needed to initiate the game as well as play it. Step 1 is to write your name on the piece of paper. It'll need to be your full name, first, middle if you have one, and last. You cannot use someone else's name or make up a name. If you do, it won't work. Let a drop of your blood land on the paper and soak in. This is a very important part of the ritual. Also, you have to use your blood for it to work. You can't use an animal or a friend's blood. Next, you need to turn off all the lights in your desired play area. This could be your house, a friend's house, or whatever. As long as you have at least one wooden door, it'll do. Take your paper with your name on it and place it in front of the wooden door. Light your candle and place it on the paper. Now knock on the door a total of 22 times. Make sure that it's midnight upon the final knock. Finally, open the door and blow out your candle. You have just let the Midnight Man into your home, and the game begins. Relight your candle quickly and try to avoid the Midnight Man until 3:33 a.m. This is how the game is won. If your candle goes out while you're wandering your house, that means that the Midnight Man is close. You need to relight it within 10 seconds to avoid losing the game. If you can't do that, then make a circle of salt around you. If you fail to do both tasks, then the Midnight Man will win the game. He will make you imagine whatever your most detestable nightmare is. While you're dealing with all that, he'll rip your body limb from limb. If you successfully get your salt circle placed, then you must wait in it until 3:33 a.m. If you relight your candle, then you can proceed with the game. These are the only ways to win the game. Do not turn on the lights during the midnight game. Do not use a flashlight during the midnight game. Do not sleep during the midnight game. If you do any of these things, there will be dire consequences. This game is really only for those thrill seekers that do it just for the thrill. There is no reward for winning the midnight game, though there is a massive loss. Play at your own risk.
If you're injured in an accident, who you hire to represent you matters. Where they live matters. We work right here.
At your own risk. The abandoned library ritual is one that requires you to go to Massachusetts in order to do. Find a lady who is running a tourist trap, convince her to let you see the library. She should take you to the library through a hidden corridor underground. The library will look as if it had just been built. You now have 2 hours to find a specific book. The book you were looking for is called The Healer. If you do not find the book in 2 hours, the building will collapse and crush you. The room isn't so big that it would be very hard to find the book, though. You just need to look. Once you found the book, a young man will appear and ask you which 5 illnesses you want to remove. You can give him the 5, and he'll put his hand on your head. Then you either wake up in your room or not. The ending is kind of hard to follow. Those illnesses that you listed will just all of a sudden be gone from the world. That's a big claim to make for such a simple ritual. Also, it says that you'll get sick, but doesn't mention why or how any of that works. Then it ends off by saying you could never return to the library or else you'll face eternal damnation. The full ending is very hard to follow. It started off strong, but then just kind of became a mess of writing that contradicts itself. Ouija boards might be one of the most well-known occult rituals. You might not consider it a ritual, as it doesn't require much setup or your blood, but it is. Ouija board allows you to speak with spirits, the dead, and demons. Ouija boards have been banned by religious groups, meaning this is the only ritual on this iceberg so far that has been banned. This could make it more exciting to some. The history of the Ouija board is a bit of a weird one. It started off as a novelty toy that supposedly answered players' questions with scary accuracy. It then became a tool for speaking with relatives that had passed, and was very popular during World War I, World War II, and the Vietnam War. The Ouija board wasn't seen as much more than a novelty toy until the release of The Exorcist. In The Exorcist, a young girl is possessed by a demon after using a Ouija board. This led to many religious groups banning the Ouija board and any other paraphernalia. There are many ways to use a Ouija board, but the most simple is to gather a group of friends and sit around the board. Turn down the lights, light some candles, and close all the doors and windows. This is more to set the mood than to play the game. Next, you need to pick a leader of your group. This person will ask all the questions. You and your other players all gather around the board and place your hands on the planchette. Your first question should be to ask if the spirit is with you. If it moves to yes, then that means it's ready for the rest of your questions. You can ask it anything you'd like, of course, but there are some basic questions that most people fall back on, such as, what is your name? When did you pass? How old are you? These questions usually get a quick and easy response, but not always. You can ask more personal questions, but don't expect a response in every case, and make sure to be polite with the spirits. For the most part, people have reported having a friendly chat with a spirit. They said thanks for the conversation and ended the session. Of course, there are myriads of stories of the opposite happening as well. Tables flying across the room, people finding strange marks on their bodies, and of course, possession. It's hard to really know what'll happen unless you try it for yourself. Salvation is a creepypasta that was created by T. Strythorst and uploaded to creepypasta.com on April 28th of 2009. A bit of an older tale, well, by internet standards anyway. Predating many well-known faces in the creepypasta world. The author starts the story by telling the reader to go to a very specific hotel and at a very late hour. Knock on the door and you should be let in. If the guard looks to be in his 20s but has completely white hair, then you must take a seat next to him. When the guard gets up at exactly 2:52 a.m., follow him. He will patrol the building as he normally would, but this is the only time he will allow you to follow. Anytime before this, and you will be removed from the hotel. Follow him as he checks every room. Stay close behind, but not get in his way. Eventually, we will reach the 5th floor and immediately notice that the temperature has dropped. The guard will walk over to a room, 512, and open the door for you. Remember the key that he used to open the door. Do not be afraid, even though the doorway is far too dark for you to see anything. Close your eyes, take a breath, and walk through. Keep your eyes closed as you cross over. The things you'd see if your eyes were open might be maddening. Once you feel hot, open your eyes. You should be staring down a long hallway with 13 doors. One of those doors will have white paint on it, and that's the one you need to remember for later. Past all 13 doors, you'll find an area that looks like a living room. In each corner, a tall creature with burnt flesh will be crouching facing the corner. Their fingers will have the skin chewed away until there's nothing but the bony talons left behind. These beings are the guardians. They are the guardians of the girl sitting in a rocking chair in the center of the room. I say girl, but she can have any appearance. It changes based on who sees her. They will all be asleep, which is what you want them to be. If you were to take a peek out the window, you'd see what looks like a burning world. It will be the same world as the one you just left, only every building is burnt out and the sun is a bloody red. The same creatures that are in the corners of this room will be roaming around, all screaming in agony. Approach the center table where the girl is sitting. On the table in front of her will be treats and snacks. You are free to partake until she wakes. Just don't eat the pie, it'll make your legs numb. Once you are ready, you must say, "Save me, mother, please." The girl will then place a key in front of you. If the key that she gives you is the one that the guard from before used to open this door, you are good to leave. If instead she offers a different key, you must make a sacrifice. Now sitting on the table will be a knife. You must give her a finger as tribute. She can offer the wrong key no more than 4 times, but requires payment each time. Once you've gotten the right key, you need to run. The creatures are slowly starting to wake up, and if you dally for even a second, they'll be on you. You need to run to the door with the white paint and open it. Rush through it and back to our world. You will wake up in front of your home with the key still in hand. A week will have passed, but you won't be able to account for any of it. One day, the actual date isn't known. A door with 777 will appear before you. Take the key and see that it fits. No one knows where this door leads, but it's better than what this world is about to become. Salvation is a very interesting creepypasta. It's one that was uploaded so early in the creepypasta world that it predates many of the classics. I think it probably deserves to be remembered alongside them, though, as it's a really good story. It has an obvious allegory to the rapture, which is a biblical end time. The world is going to become the same hell that the author described. It's not like a religious rant, and it actually pulls off its themes really well. The ritual isn't anything crazy, well, except for the losing fingers part. So that might be more acceptable than being eaten or turned by one of those creatures. It paints a very horrific depiction of what our world would become after the end times. Reading this creepypasta actually made me feel a little nostalgic, even though this is my first time reading it. It reads so much like the other older creepypastas that were released around that time. Is there anything that you desire so badly that you would risk everything for? If so, you may be in luck. This is the ritual for you. It's called the 11 miles ritual. It is one of the more costly rituals because you'll need a car. First things first, make sure you have a car.
Really?
And not something that's
11th
large or
mile?
noticeable. You'll want something a bit more discreet. Also, a new car will work fine, but it most likely won't come out unscathed. So consider using something you don't mind getting a bit dirty or damaged. The road that you're looking for doesn't really exist. Not normally, anyway. Instead, you'll have to find this road by manifesting it with your desires. Let me explain. You'll need to start driving at night. Imagine the thing that you want more than anything in the world. The reason you want to conduct this ritual in the first place. Let that be your guide to the road. Then, as if by magic, it'll appear. Now, depending on what your desire is, the road will be marked differently. If you're looking for love, you might find a rose by an unmarked road. If it's money, then maybe the sign will be like pure gold. What it manifests isn't important. The important part is that you found it.
That's cool.
Now you can begin your arduous journey to make your dream a reality, whatever that may be. Important to note is how this whole thing works. You'll need to drive along this road for 11 miles. That doesn't sound so hard. Well, each mile has its own challenges and perils that might dissuade you. But just imagine your desire again and continue. Now let's begin the journey. The first mile is pretty simple. The air around you will get incredibly cold. You may turn on your heater during this mile. You'll also notice that you're driving through a very heavily forested area. Trees will surround the road on both sides. The second mile is more of the first, but now will be almost too cold for you to bear, especially if you didn't turn on the heater. Do so now, or you might freeze to death before getting far. The third mile is when silhouetted figures will start to appear in the trees. Do not look directly at them. They might look human, but I can assure you that they are not. Instead, keep your eyes on the road. The fourth mile is when the voices will begin. You can hear them calling your name or whispering your desire. Ignore them. They just want to distract you from finishing the ritual. On the fifth mile, you may experience a clearing with a lake, and the moon may start to glow. Do not look at them and continue on. Keep your eyes glued to the road, as it's the only protection from them. On the sixth mile is where the trees will return. This mile is the halfway point, but it's also when most surrender or lose. The night sky will now be devoid of stars. It'll just be a giant black abyss above you. Continue on the road, focus on your driving. The seventh mile will have the voices returning. This time you'll likely hear them from your back seat. You need to remain calm and keep your eyes on the road. Do not look behind you and do not respond to them. The eighth mile is where you'll need to slow down a bit. 30 miles was the constant speed you needed to maintain, but you need to slow a bit here. Do not stop though. You may see something moving around in the trees. It may howl. Do not let the car stop. On the 9th mile, your car will stall temporarily. You need to close your eyes and restart it as many times as it takes. Do not open your eyes. The voices will persist, and you may even feel something touch you. Keep driving once the car starts up. Do not open your eyes until the mile is complete. You'll know when the mile is done. Try to drive as straight as you can with your eyes closed. The 10th mile is when the voices will finally stop. Do not look in your rearview mirror at this time. You'll see the silhouettes again, and you may find them in your back seat now if you look. Seeing them gives them power. The 11th mile is when your car will finally lose power. Even though it doesn't have power, it will still continue moving. This is when you'll see a bright red light appear in the sky. Cover your eyes and do not speak during this mile. Keep your eyes covered until the car regains power and stops moving. Once it does, restart it and begin driving again. Then you'll find the ending of the road and the way out. Stop at the end and imagine the thing you most desire. Whatever it is will now manifest in some way. Now you're done with the 11 miles ritual. Congratulations. Your resolve got you exactly what you wanted, but what now? Your whole life you wanted this thing, but now that you have it, you want more. Well, you can always turn your car around and start the 11 miles again. I mean, you completed it the first time. I'm sure you can do it again.
Holy shit, that's crazy. There's so many rituals. Channel Infinity ritual. It's crazy.
Channel Infinity is a supposed channel that can be accessed through a bit of a convoluted ritual. The Channel Infinity ritual popped up on the Creepypasta Wiki in 2014, but not much more is known about its origins. The original ritual was kind of a mess to follow, so I made it a bit easier. This one will require an older TV. The older the better, so says the ritual. You will need at least one friend with you as well, or a family member. You can bring more than one friend though. This will help with something later in the ritual. Before you start, you'll need these. An item that you hold dear. This can be anything as long as it has sentimental value.
Badger.
Two handheld mirrors, and a weapon of some sort. There will be more items, but we'll get to those in a bit. Now that you have all your items, you can start the setup. Find a secluded room in your house and put the TV in it. Turn on the TV and change it to a channel that you don't receive. The channel will either be a black screen if you have digital, or static if you have an analog TV. Without turning off the TV, leave the room for exactly 3 hours. No one can enter the room during those 3 hours. Let the people that you brought know not to go near that room. After the 3 hours are up, enter the room alone. Have everyone else stay just outside the door. You'll then need to stare at the screen long enough for your body to start feeling disoriented and a little freaked out. Once this happens, call your friend into the room. Grab the item that you hold most dear and give it to whichever person you are closest to. If you didn't bring an item with you, then tell the person a secret with a hug and have everyone leave the room. Make sure they know not to come in during the ritual. Next, hold the mirror so that it looks like the TV is behind you. Stay in that position until a question starts to appear on the screen. If you didn't bring the mirrors, then you'll just need to turn around
Just
until you
roll
hear
a
a noise
fat
coming from the
joint.
TV. And honestly, that's probably the easier method.
Oh yeah.
The TV will display
We're
questions.
just gonna
Answer with a
blaze
yes by
through
pressing
these
up on the remote,
rituals.
or a no by pressing down. The questions, which can range from 3 to 26, can be about anything. They are personal questions, and some are mundane, like what is your favorite food or color, while others might ask some seriously philosophical quandaries. You'll want to answer every question truthfully. This step is important as you won't reach channel infinity if you don't. The TV will know if you're lying, so do your best to answer everything correctly. If you lied about anything during the questionnaire portion, then nothing will happen and the ritual ends. If you answer everything correctly, though, then you might see one of these 3 things. First, your favorite show of all time, no matter what that may be, will come on screen. Every character in the show will then proceed to be killed in the most heart-wrenching way. You have to watch, as you can't take your eyes off of the screen. Second scenario, you will see a picture come on the screen of your least favorite person or thing. You must immediately destroy the screen with whatever weapon you brought. If you didn't bring a weapon, you should try kicking or smashing the screen another way. Don't worry about the TV though. It'll repair itself. The final scenario is the most hazardous. A dark vortex cuts around you, and you'll find yourself in a twisted version of the house you were conducting the ritual in. If you end up here, you have a lot more you must do. Firstly, you will need to find a specific room. That room should have a bunch of items that are important for completing the ritual. Take the items and exit your house. You'll find that the outside world is just as twisted. The sky will be red, the sun is a dark gray, and plants and trees are sickly orange. You need to make your way towards the closest public building. This can be a school, post office, or any government building. Reach into your pocket and you should find a key. If you don't have a key, you need to break in through a window. Once inside, you need to find a room with only one entrance. Go in and close the door behind you. You should have a book that was available in the items that you obtained from this world's version of your home. If you got the book, then start reading it. You'll hear the steps of something walking around the building. Those steps will eventually be heard outside of your door. Whatever you do, don't stop reading. Once you can no longer hear the
They probably
steps,
think we're
count to
crazy.
250 out loud. Every 10 numbers, you'll hear footsteps outside the door. Upon reaching
Isn't that
250,
hilarious,
you will hear a
Badger?
knock at the door. If there are 3 knocks, open the door. But if you hear 4, then say, "I forbid you," twice, and open the door. Exit the building and look up at the sky. The moon will now be visible and will be one of 2 colors, in either half or full. If it's pink in half, pull out your phone and call your 3rd most recent contact. If it's pink in full, pull out the phone and dial a random number. Before the person picks up, bite your tongue. Green in half means that you need to strip off all your clothes and run back to your house. Do not look behind you the whole way. And finally, if it's green in full, then well, it won't matter because you'll be dead in the next half hour. If it's one of the first 3, then you'll wake up in front of the TV. You have officially reached channel infinity. Grabbing the remote, you can now scroll through some interesting channels. The channels will be named things like The Meaning of Life or How to Acquire True Love. This is your reward for completing the channel infinity ritual. The more people that you brought with you will increase the amount of channels and topics covered on channel infinity. You can only choose one channel, so choose wisely. If instead of choosing a channel, you decide you want to just watch the static for a while, then you'll see cryptic images appear on the screen in flashes. These can be deciphered to show you the answer to your greatest question. You can stay on the channel as long as you like, and the ritual will be over the second you leave the room. Important to note that not all the information you'll find on channel infinity will be good. Some of it can be cosmically damaging to a person's psyche. Once you've gotten your answer, remember that you can't tell anybody what you saw on channel infinity. You can never speak of it to anybody. You can only access the channel 4 times in your life. Whatever you find, I hope it is exactly what you were looking for. Now, this ritual has been kind of popular and feels similar to Candle Cove. It probably has everything to do with the fact that it revolves around a TV. Channel Infinity would get several spin-offs, some of which are far better than the original ritual. The ritual itself is pretty convoluted, but interesting. The only part I'm not really a fan of is the randomness of the moon color that can kill you. You have a 1 in 4 chance of just dying during the ritual because the color you got was the wrong one. From a storytelling point, this is weird, because it takes all agency away from the person conducting the ritual. Overall, not a bad ritual, and it was highly requested by many of my viewers. I look fondly on many of these rituals, be them creepypasta or not. The internet is full of wild and disturbing concepts, and these are some of my favorites.
The very last step ritual. Unfucking believable.
The very last step ritual is another ritual that lets you communicate with the devil, though this time in a much more involved way. Also, the reward for this ritual is a bit more than what you get from the other devil summoning ritual. This ritual could give you the power of wishing. The first thing before beginning this ritual, you'll need to bring some sort of protective relic. You can bring something of extreme personal value, but it is recommended just to wear a cross. You don't have to be practicing that particular religion for the artifact to work. Just make sure that the artifact is touching your skin at all times. You'll need it to be midnight, or 12:06 a.m. to be exact, to start the ritual.
If you've got issues with concrete like this, spalling, pitting,
12:06 a.m. to be exact, to start the ritual. Find a flight of stairs in your home that has at least 6 steps, then walk down the steps in a completely pitch black room. You notice that your stairs seem to be a bit longer than you remember. At this point, you'll be walking down an incredibly long staircase, one that couldn't possibly exist in your house. Eventually, you will make it to the final step. Before you will be a gaping hole with the sounds of the damned emanating from it. Turn from it and look in the direction from which you came, and notice that the stairs have vanished. Now you must close your eyes and count to 10. Grasp your protective relic tightly as you do so. Keep your eyes closed and say, "I wish to gain the power of wishing." The phrase doesn't have to be the exact same, but should have the same general meaning. After a while, you'll feel a sudden movement, and you'll know that you were transported. At this point, you can open your eyes. When you do, you'll see a sort of circular chamber. There will be 2 chairs facing each other at the other end of the chamber. The black chair is the devil's throne, and you definitely shouldn't sit there. Instead, take a seat in the pale red chair facing it. The chair won't be comfortable, but that's really the least of your worries at this point. A thunderous boom will echo through the chamber. The devil has arrived, and he will be in the form of the person that you despise the most in the whole world. There will be a difference, though, as you will have completely white eyes with a black pupil in the center and no irises. The devil will take his seat and start to probe your face. After a while, he'll ask if you'd like to play a simple game. You will say yes, regardless of what you actually wanted to do. He'll smile, be satisfied, and give you a rundown of the rules. The devil will ask you to recall a moment from your life that you were very proud of or had a great amount of enjoyment. It could be a family vacation, winning an award, or a competition. Try to remember it as well as you can. The devil will then start to ask questions. Who was with you? What was your main goal? What award or competition did you win? After doing so, he will start to tear apart what you've said. He will say the award was meaningless, and that you were a fraud who stole it away from someone more deserving. He'll tell you that other people on the vacation had wished you didn't come. When he is done, he'll once again ask you to recite what happened. If you fully believe in what you said before, you can recite what you had before, and not include anything that the devil had mentioned. If not, then you've already lost the first game. Yes, I said first, as the devil will have you play 6 different games with him. You only need to win 3. His first one was the easiest. If you won, that means 2 more shouldn't be so hard, right? The devil will reach for your hand, shake it, and you'll immediately pull away as his hands will feel clammy and gross. As you do, you'll be plunged into a room with your deepest fear. Your goal is to fight through whatever it is. The fear that you're facing may feel real, but it isn't. If you fear spiders, then thousands of them will be crawling all over you. Have a fear of heights, then you'll be falling with the ground fast approaching. Whatever it is you fear, it will be manifested. You'll either fight through it or succumb to it. Once that's done, you return to the throne room. That is the second game. You won't even have a chance to recover before the devil is pushing you into the third game. The devil will ask you to forgive him, and you must do so to proceed. You will be dropped into your own personalized maze. What makes this maze so personal? Well, it is a maze of your mind. As you traverse it, you'll see moments from your past that will try to keep you there for a while. The maze can also show you things that you want to see. A kiss from your crush, a cuisine that you don't get often, or maybe whatever your sick, twisted mind desires, but you can't come to terms with saying out loud. Everything in this maze is true. This is your mind after all. No tricks, no traps. It's just your wants and your desires in one convenient place. You won't just see the things that you want to see, though. You'll also be confronted by your greatest fears, your deepest and darkest secrets, and traumas you wish you'd forgotten. Many souls have lost this game. Seeing their mind and soul bare has led them to mental breaks. You can always call out that you can't escape the maze. If you do so, the game ends and you'll be free of it. Or you can find the exit and be free of it all. Once you return, the devil will offer you a drink. It will be your favorite drink, or the one that you want at that exact moment. Take it and drink it to the very last drop. You may be wondering what would happen if you won all 3 of the first games. Well, the devil isn't quite done yet. It will still make you play all 6 regardless. Hand the empty drink back to the devil, and as soon as he takes it from you, you'll be teleported into the next game. This one will see you fighting an exact replica of yourself. You'll be given a revolver and a short sword. Even if you've never held a sword in your life, you will know how to use this one. The fight could be grueling, as your doppelganger will know and do exactly as you do. In order to win this fight, you'll have to go outside of your comfort zone. Act in a way that you would never act. Or if you're good with a gun, just shoot your doppelganger in the head and end it quickly. The next game is considered both the hardest and easiest game based on who you are as a person. After you've returned, you need to reach out and grab the devil's arm. Then he'll nod twice and teleport you to a world of nothing but mirrors. These aren't ordinary mirrors, though. These mirrors will show all of your friends, family, and coworkers. They'll show anyone you have a personal attachment to. The mirror versions of these people will tell you what they think of you. This could be fine if you have strong relationships and always try your best around them. Or it could be the worst if you're not a very good person and have many enemies. All you have to do is take the heat from everyone. Concentrate as hard as you can on anything but the berating that you are receiving. Push it out of your mind and you'll win this game easily. Once you've returned to the chamber, make sure not to touch the devil in any way. Curl up into a ball in the chair, grasp your relic tightly, and clear your mind. This will take you to the final game. Count to 5 and open your eyes. Before you will be a random generic person you may or may not know. Their face will be dripping with blood and skin will be torn away in places. This person will tell you that you were the one that caused this. They will berate you as well, but you can't tune them out. You have to listen for a very specific phrase. They will need to say, "I'll make you feel pain you've never known before." Once they have, you need to shoot them with the revolver that you have now. You have to shoot them exactly 3 times in the middle of the forehead. Make sure not to miss. If you do, you lose. You'll next need to tackle the person and shout, "I have given you peace." Turn away and take 3 steps with each foot. Cover your face with your hands and kneel. Do not speak at all. You'll be back in the room with the devil. He will smile and offer you a handshake, but do not accept it. Instead, do a short bow, but keep your eyes on the devil, and take your leave. A door will appear that you can take, and once you have stepped through, you'll be greeted with the last step of your stairs. The devil has given you the ability of wish making. This gift is extremely useful, but can be very tricky to use. Every wish needs to be very specific, or you could end up talking to lots of corpses and other strange mishaps with wording. The next day, you will receive a strange newspaper. In it, you'll find an article on the person that you saw in the 6th game. They will be mutilated and have details of how they died in that article. You know that that person was sacrificed for your ritual, even if you didn't know them. You'll probably still feel guilty. Let's wind back to if you accepted the devil's handshake. Well, if you did, the devil will gain complete control of you. He can make you do anything he wants, and the first thing he'll make you do is take off your protective relic. You will now join the tortured souls of the damned. You'll wish you never tried this ritual.
That's wild. Did you guys hear that shit? These fucking rituals.
Damned. You'll wish you never tried this ritual. As a ritual, the story doesn't really work. It's not something you can even try yourself, not that you should try most of these. As a ritual creepypasta, though, it's fantastic. As I mentioned before, this iceberg will deal with ritual creepypastas, internet rituals, and urban legends. This ritual is our second to deal with the devil, but takes on a completely different perspective. This one makes the devil feel a bit more like a Loki figure, whereas the original one had him more of a crazed monster who just loves human suffering. Also, the reward for completing this ritual is the power of wishing. That is an insane reward. The power of wishing essentially means you can make wishes and they come true, like an unlimited genie that you can call upon whenever. The one drawback being that if your wishes aren't super specific, then you might not get exactly what you asked for. Though that seems more tedious than a straight negative, this reward kind of makes the whole story a bit too much overall. Like, of course, risking eternal damnation should have a pretty good reward, but not one that breaks the fabric of reality. Overall, the creepypasta and accompanying ritual are fine. Also worth noting is that this specific creepypasta was written for a contest. I couldn't find the winner of said contest, or even a mention of it outside of the author's note on the creepypasta wiki, so there's that, I guess.
Ritual of the seven sins, really? Seven ritual, really?
The ritual of the seven sins is one that promises a very unique gift as its reward. You'll be able to see through any lie, no matter how big or small. The original ritual was posted on Reddit's R No Sleep series and eventually found its way to the Creepypasta wiki. The original post had many typos and grammatical errors, but if you can read through that, then you'd find a mostly interesting story. With the mention of the seven sins, you could probably already guess how this ritual plays out.
Yeah, we know how to read
Let's
through
check
the
out the ritual.
lies.
Firstly, you'll need salt. Most of these rituals require salt. Store-bought should be fine. Then you'll need a piece of paper, a candle, and a lighter or matches. Finally, you'll need an item that is of great importance to you. This last item is the most important, as it is with most of these rituals. It needs to be something with heavy sentimental value to you. A book, photograph, anything really, as long as you care about it. You should find a quiet place to perform this ritual. Make sure to start at 11:30 p.m. And most importantly, don't bring any religious icons with you. No crosses or Bibles. The creature that you will be summoning in this ritual will be highly offended by such things. They can either not show up at all, or the police would be lucky to find a shred of you the next day. Now, if you still want to continue with this ritual, this is what you'll need to do. First, start by creating a circle of salt big enough for a person to stand in. Take the pencil and write a name on it. It doesn't matter what name you use, as long as it's a real name. Next, light the candle. Take the candle into your left hand and whatever item you brought with you in your right. As the clock approaches midnight, you must say, I turn from the Lord who would hide the true nature of his creation to one who will reveal to me the truth hidden within the lies. Then say the name on the paper and say, to thee I offer a gift of friendship. Place your object in the circle as a gift, stand back and wait. Wait until the clock strikes midnight and blow out your candle. Count to 13 quietly and relight your candle. Once you are bathed in the candlelight, you should see a figure standing in the salt circle. They will be divinely beautiful, but something about them is just wrong. It's as if they do not belong on this earth, and you will be right. They'll accept your gift and ask to give you one as well. You must decline politely first, then accept after their continued insistence. You will feel dizzy immediately upon agreeing and black out momentarily. When you reawaken, you notice that you're in a maze. A heavy fog will permeate and the walls will be covered in vines. Make your way through the maze until you enter a room. Inside will be a grand hall with tables covered in some of the most delectable food you've ever seen. You must leave this room as quickly as possible, and do not grab a scrap of the food. If you do, then you'll be overcome with an insatiable hunger. You won't be able to stop yourself as you start to eat and eat. Nothing will fill your hunger. You will eat until you can't eat anymore and burst. Gluttony is the first room. Leave quickly and you'll find yourself in a chamber filled with gold. Not only gold, though, you'll also find the newest electronics, the nicest cars, and other luxuries that go from wall to wall. This room represents greed, and you must not touch anything. If you do, then I hope you know the story of Midas, because you'll be turned to pure gold. A fate worse than death. Once you've escaped greed, you'll suddenly become very tired. The very thought of sleep will sound like the greatest idea you've ever had. Of course you can't do that, though, or else you'll be trapped forever in a room where you'll feel like you're falling forever. This is the trap of sloth. You should be mindful of how long it takes you to leave. The longer you're there, the more tired you'll become. Quickly make your way to the exit and into room 4. The next room will have a few people in it. They will be yelling, jeering, and insulting you as you make your way through the room. They are trying to provoke you. Do not give in. This room is wrath, and you don't want to know what happens if you give in.
What you do today changes what you...
Wrath, and you don't want to know what happens if you give in. The 5th room is waiting, and the shouting will immediately be replaced by cheering. Crowds of people will be chanting your name and asking you for autographs. This room represents pride, but do not fall for their sudden approval of you. There hides many dangers in this room. The 6th room will just be an ornate bed. In it, you will see the most beautiful people that you've ever met. They will be everything that you wanted in a romantic partner, and they will beckon you to bed. You must resist, as the punishment for this room is eternal torture till the end of time. The seventh and final room will await you. Once inside, you'll see the creature from before. The room will have 2 doors, one with the gift you have undertaken this quest for, the other will be a world of pure ignorant bliss. Do not take the left door. It will lead to a world of horrific bliss, as you'll lose your soul and become nothing more than a husk. Take the other door and receive your reward. From now on, you'll be able to tell if someone is lying to you, know what someone's intentions are, and know exactly what they're feeling at all times. This can be a gift as much as it can be a curse. You'll always know that someone is lying, or what they actually want. You'll never be able to talk to a loved one without fear of finding out something that you weren't meant to. This ritual will give you what you want. It might also take away everything you already have. Now, this ritual has some interesting ideas, but I'm not sold on it overall. Of course, the grammatical errors in writing play a part in holding it back, but it feels like a kind of predictable story. That's not to say that it isn't a good story. I really like the descriptions of the rooms, and I really like the perils that you may face as you progress through the ritual. I think the overall reward for this one is also interesting, as it gives you something that hasn't been offered by other rituals yet. I also like how each room is described in a way that makes you feel like you can tell what sin is being represented. I also feel like you would too easily win this ritual if you just kept walking forward. I think some more perils would have helped the story a bit. I do think the ending kind of makes up for it, though. Probably depends on who you surround yourself with. Good friends and family members will probably not be too big of an issue, but coworkers might be another story. Overall, not bad, and on to the next one.
That's wild. Listen to this shit, the scorpion ritual. I haven't even heard all these
Supposedly a
rituals.
ritual that lets you bring back the dead. Of course, not without a catch, though. There's always a catch when it comes to rituals involving the dead. Playing with life and death just happens to have consequences. There's kind of a monkey's paw effect to any ritual with the dead. The wish comes true, but with a consequence. Of course, the consequences for this specific ritual might be a bit too much for people to even consider attempting it. The list of items you'll need for this one are a bit harder to find, for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, you'll need a dead body. It must have been dead no longer than a week, or it won't work. Also, the body must not have been tampered with and needs to be mostly intact. After that, you'll need a large scorpion. Scorpions are indigenous to a lot of places, but if they're not in your area, then you might not be able to attempt this one, which you probably shouldn't anyway. Scorpions are also pretty dangerous, so careful when you find one. You'll also need a bottle of acid, pH under 3. One alcoholic beverage, possibly for drinking, but you're not required to do so. You are still required to bring the drink, though. And you'll need a gallon of flammable liquid. The next set of items are a primitive lighting method for the flammable liquid, a spear that you make yourself, optional tinder, and optional torch or lantern. If you want to bring your car and other electronic devices, make sure they stay at least a mile from wherever you decide to do this ritual. These devices may stop working during the ritual or cause the ritual to not work at all. Better safe than sorry. Spectators are allowed as many as you like, but only one other person can participate in the ritual with you. Though do note that the more people you bring, the more people you put in danger of what may come. To start, you must obtain that dead body. Like I mentioned before, they can only have been dead a week at most. The cause of death can be anything, just as long as the body is mostly intact. They can even have a few missing limbs and be considered viable. Also, they can't have been preserved in any way. The second step is to find a spot for the ritual. Remember that you don't want any electronic devices, so doing this at a home probably won't work. You'll likely need to find an abandoned area, a field, or in the forest should do. Step 3 is to place the body and make a circle around you and it with the flammable liquid. Do not light the liquid yet. Make sure you have your scorpion, acid, and spear nearby. Please keep the scorpion and acid in separate jars. Step 4 is optional. You need to take a sip of your drink and then give it a toast to the sky. This is mainly done as a show of goodwill, but isn't necessary. Like I said, you can skip this step altogether if you'd like. Step 5 will have you lay the body out. You'll need to have their arms resting over their heart with palms up to form a cup. Release the scorpion into their hand and pour the alcoholic drink into the hands to create a pool. Step 6 is to make sure the scorpion stings the hand that it rests in. It only needs to do this once, so it is recommended that you poke at the scorpion with the spear until it stabs the hand.
Muscle milk, now with a new great taste.
Hey, what's good, 3 viewers? How
Step
come only
7,
bad
light the
viewers in the
fire.
chat?
Be careful when doing this. Make sure the fire creates a perfect circle around you. Step 8 is to pour the acid on the scorpion and kill it.
Can you
The
guys
scorpion
hear
also has to
the
die inside of the cupped hands, so make sure it doesn't escape.
ritual
This is also the last
creepypasta
chance for anyone
iceberg?
watching to leave before the ritual begins. Step 9. If everything was done correctly, the area where you dropped the acid...
Let me know in
turn
the
into a
chat
pool
if you
of
guys
black.
are able to hear the
You must stab the location where
creepypasta.
the new black liquid emerged from. It is important that you don't miss, so you may stab multiple times. Step 10 is the most vital. The body will shake if you stab the right spot. You'll notice the flames around you start to die down. After a minute, the corpse will rise and the flames will completely extinguish. The next step is to run. The spirit will have completely taken over the dead body and be in full control. The only way to stop it is to stab where the black liquid emerged from before. That is its only weakness. Running will give you time to get a better advantage to fight it. The other option with running is to just leave the area altogether. So if you do decide to run and leave the mile radius, the reanimated would still be able to follow you. The reanimated will be very angry as the dead do not like being woken. It likely will pursue you and anyone involved until you or it are dead. The reanimated will also hate sunlight, so it's a good way to escape it. The reanimated may also find that chasing someone else would be easier. If this is to happen, remember that sometimes those killed by the reanimated can become reanimated as well. This could mean a lot more trouble for you. The last thing of note, if you happen to feel an odd fear of arachnids after concluding this ritual, well, it's already too late for you. The ritual itself is fine, but I have some issues with the overall reason to conduct it. You're not bringing back a loved one or getting some sort of wish fulfillment. All you're doing is bringing back a spirit from the dead that will now try and kill you. I guess the thrill seekers would be the ones to attempt this. Just getting the materials for this ritual would be impossible for most people. A dead body alone would make this impossible for just about anyone to attempt. This is another ritual pasta that focuses too much on the creepypasta side and not enough on the ritual side. A good ritual creepypasta should have a great ritual that can stand apart from the story it's in. Something that is practical and makes it feel like you could try it if you had the same time and resources. Of course, it's still a fine story. Definitely more creepy than some of the others we've covered so far. The reward isn't really a reward, but maybe you could attempt this as some sort of rite of passage. Let's go to the next one. The Disney Mirror Ritual is a ritual that requires you to conduct it at Disney World. This can
Really?
be
The
hard for many, as
Disney
Disney World is a very
ritual? That's
specific
crazy
location,
word.
and it can be kind of pricey.
That's
Also, this ritual has a lot of risk involved, but more on that later. The first instance of this ritual appearing online is on Reddit's r/creepypastas and was later reposted to r/3kings. r/3kings is a subreddit for rituals and paranormal experiments. The subreddit isn't very big, but I found some interesting rituals on some of the threads. Disney has a long history of creepypastas, urban legends, and ghost stories surrounding them. The parks are no exception, which is how we ended up with this ritual. This ritual takes place at Cinderella's castle, which is essentially the center of Disney World. With how much traffic Disney World gets, the hardest part for many is trying to get into the park and into the place where you need to be. If you do decide to try this ritual, you'll need 3 items: a piece of chalk, a knife with no handle, and a broken shard of mirror. Now, you'll need to sneak these items into Disney World, so it's recommended that you bring smaller items and a way to conceal them. To start the ritual, you'll need to hide the 3 items all around Disney World. This must be done during the day. Yes, you will have to stay at the park overnight. The
Hey,
items
what's
can be
good,
hidden at
Melissa?
Main Street, USA, Liberty Square, Fantasyland, Adventureland, Frontierland, and Tomorrowland. Which ones you choose doesn't matter. Before you hide the items, head to the tunnel going through Cinderella's castle and mark a brick at eye level with the chalk. Say "mirror, mirror" as you do so. This tells the park that you intend to play. Next thing you need to do is find a place to hide until the park closes. You can enjoy the park in any way you want before then, though. Make sure you find a good spot. Disney employees and security are kind of used to people trying to stay in the park after hours. Important tip, you can cancel your request to do the ritual by erasing your chalk from the brick.
Can
and
you
leaving the
hear
park.
the
There's no consequence for doing this.
creepypasta
You can go on with your
fucking
life.
goofy like
This
all
is
the
the only chance you
rituals?
have to willingly walk away.
Melissa Tress.
If you decide
Hey,
to follow
what's
through with
up?
this ritual, You need to wait until the amount of security guards has waned and start to collect your items. Make sure to grab the mirror shard last. This will trigger the harder part of the ritual, so save it for later.
Dude, all these fucking conspiracy theory channels are talking about they're doing the elite Illuminati, they're doing all these rituals or whatever, but like look, listen to, can you guys hear the creepy pasta? Like, unbelievable. They're explaining all the rituals.
Run. The park has decided not to accept your challenge, and you are no longer welcome. Leave the park immediately and don't return. Once you've retrieved all 3 of your items, the true test of the ritual will begin. Security will suddenly just stop appearing around the park, as if they vanished completely. Security guards may not be an issue anymore, but a new threat has emerged. You'll need to quickly make your way to Cinderella's castle. Doesn't sound so hard, right? Well, you'll also need to be on the lookout for the false. What is a false? The false looks similar to the normal Disney mascots that you see during the day, except their uniforms are tattered and mangled. At this point, you'll need to use your mirror fragment to look around every corner for the false. If you see one in the reflection of your mirror shard, you need to bring the tip of the blade across its reflection. This will force the false to move away and will give you a chance to recede. More than likely, though, you'll have to have a face-to-face encounter with the false.
Can you guys hear this shit? Like,
false and it sees you, and it will see you.
Can you guys hear this
place
shit?
Your mirror
Or
on the
no?
ground and close your eyes. You'll hear footsteps and raspy breathing, but keep calm. Once you hear the false get close to you, you'll need to jab it with a knife. Whatever you do, don't let it touch you. The false will run off with a hiss, and when you no longer hear footsteps, you are allowed to open your eyes.
I'm a wee bit
You're allowed to do this
OCD.
method a few
Sometimes I
times,
feel
but each time your
compelled
blade will
to
get weaker
drive
and
back
weaker. Should it break, you'll be
by
completely
my
defenseless, and the
by my
false will know.
spot.
Once you've made your way to Cinderella's
Just to
castle,
make
you'll be safe
certain
from the
I
false.
close my garage door. Yeah,
Find the
yeah,
brick marks earlier and
exactly.
place your mirror against it.
Exactly.
Trace the mirror with your chalk and move away. The mirror won't move from its perch. Say, mirror, mirror, 3 times in rhythmic succession. If you've done it correctly, you'll see a clouded face start to appear on the reflection. Now this is when the true ritual begins. The face will say, past, present,
I don't know
future.
any folks or
Choose,
anybody.
just nod your head when the voice says which one you want. The mirror will then show you an answer to a question you have based on which one you nodded to. For the past, you might get an answer to a burning historical question you had. For the present, it could be an answer to a current dilemma you're facing.
Basically, we're like
For the future,
debunking
it will show you a
Gematria.
future outcome that has yet to happen. Ask the question.
I don't know
watch
if
the
that
mirror
makes
answer
sense.
for you. Once that is complete, turn completely away from the mirror.
This is Gematriaholics Anonymous. We're like asking the
Once you
quacks,
turn back around,
what
see if the
ritual
mirror
are
fragment
you
is gone,
talking about
as Disney World
exactly?
has accepted it as tribute.
Are you doing a
You're not quite
Disneyland
done.
fucking
You need to head back
backroom
to your safe
ritual? I mean,
location.
like,
Wait there till the
unbelievable.
morning.
What the
and
fuck
visitors have
ritual
arrived.
are you?
You need to draw a chalk circle around yourself and stay in it all night. If you're in a room with a door, then draw a half circle around the doorway and sit tight. You
Listen,
can't
can
sleep
you
during
guys
this
hear
time.
the
You
fucking
shouldn't leave
creepy
the chalk
pasta?
circle. It's unsafe. You need to wait until morning to leave. If you hear voices, do not respond to them. If you hear a melody that sounds like a Disney song, do not sing along, do not hum along, and do not follow along in your head.
Yeah, is anybody
Distract
buying
yourself and wait
this?
until morning. Once morning has arrived and the park guests start to appear, you need to quickly leave your hiding place and the park altogether. You can never return to Disney World ever again. You have outworn your welcome.
Think about it.
Now
You're
let's
like
discuss the
sneaking around,
consequences for failing the ritual at any stage. Should one of the false touch you,
creeping
then you will be
around,
unable to
doing
move freely.
rituals in
You
your
become one of the
fucking
soulless false that wander
Disneyland.
the park. Or maybe they'll take pity on you.
Unbelievable.
Instead, you'll have an accident at the park. Whatever the park has decided for you, you won't be calling it the happiest place on earth anymore.
Chat,
So,
yo,
rituals are
what
actually
the
one of my
fuck? Can
favorites.
you hear
It
the
blends the
creepy
supernatural aspects
pasta
of the ritual
video
and
that
gives
I'm
you a
playing in
solid
the
core.
background? Or do
This
you
one does
guys
lean a little bit into
just
the
hear
creepypasta
me?
side of the ritual, but keeps the actual ritual somewhat grounded. I kind of have a soft spot for stories focused around Disney. I'm not a huge Disney fan or anything, but I love urban legends surrounding the park, or the various creepypastas about Disney. The false are also super interesting and give me a bit of an Abandoned by Disney and Five Nights at Freddy's vibe.
I'm trying to
The
learn all
ritual
their
part was
rituals
pretty
that they're
interesting and gave a
doing.
feasible reward. There are
These
easier ways to get the same
motherfucking
reward,
conspiracy
according to the other
theorist
stories on this
motherfuckers
iceberg.
said everybody
Knowledge
was
is
doing a
important,
bunch
though,
of
so I can understand
rituals.
that those that would want to go to these measures to seek it out.
What's this one? How to play hide and seek alone ritual?
How to
Unbelievable.
play hide and seek alone is a very popular ritual that allows someone to contact the dead. This ritual is one that I remember vaguely from a decade ago.
Dude, this is what the like Aleister Crowley Gematria crowd is actually doing. Like that's what I'm trying to show this. Like what ritual exactly are you saying that you're
being
doing?
talked about heavily online. The ritual or game originates from Japan, but is also very popular in Korea. The first posts that contained the urban legend were on horror bulletin boards in Japan and Korea back in 2007. Eventually, the urban legend would spread to the West in the form of a creepypasta. The ritual has a few steps that you need to follow to a T for it to work. All of the items are at least easy to get. The things you will need are a stuffed doll with limbs, rice, one needle, one crimson thread, one pair of nail clippers, one sharp-edged tool, 1 cup of salt water, a bathroom with a bathtub, and a place to hide that has a TV in it. These items are all key, so make sure you have them. Also, for the sharp-edged item, anything will work as long as you can stab something with it. During the preparation period, you'll have a few things you'll need to do. First, replace the doll's stuffing with the rice. Second, clip some of your fingernails and place them inside the doll and close it up with the crimson thread. The third thing you'll need to do is fill up your bathtub with water. And finally, return to your hiding place and place a cup of salt water on the ground. Now, how to actually do the ritual. First, give the doll a name. This can be any name but your own. Claim that the doll is it and throw it in the bathtub. This must be done at 3 a.m. Now, go around your house and turn off all of the lights. Go back to your hiding place and turn on the TV. After counting to 10 with your eyes closed, return to the bathroom with your edge tool of choice. Grab the doll and say, "I found you," before stabbing it. Leave the doll on the bathroom counter and say you are the next it. As soon as the doll is resting on the counter, you need to leave. Go back to your hiding place. The game has begun. During the ritual, you may hear sounds of something moving around your house. This is normal, though you should end the game if things start to get out of hand. To end the ritual, you must put half of the cup of salt water in your mouth and hold it there. Then go and find the doll. It won't be in the bathroom anymore. Pour the rest of the salt water on it. Spit out your salt water on the doll and say, "I win," 3 times. That should end the ritual, but you'll still need to get rid of the doll. You'll need to dry it, then burn it. This item is now cursed. It must be destroyed. Remember to keep this game under 2 hours. Any longer and the spirit of the doll will grow too strong and may look for a new host. This is the first ritual I thought of when I started the research for this iceberg. A lot of staples are here except for the reward at the end. The only reward you get is the thrill from the game. I really enjoy hearing different urban legends from other countries, especially like the ones that have similar stories to the ones I'm used to. It lets me compare and see what similarities and differences cultures will have.
Thanks
on the
for listening,
story.
Melissa
There are
Tress. I
many
don't
variations of this
understand what
exact
you're
ritual
saying.
too in the States, though I prefer this original version more. It kind of reminds me of the Midnight Game, but that game seems to have more dire consequences. On to the next one.
Ritual to experience the other side? Really?
This is a ritual that requires a lot less than most of the rituals we've covered so far, and that we will cover later. This ritual lets you experience one of the other sides. You don't get to decide which one. This ritual is pretty straightforward. I couldn't find where this exact story originated from, but it has that classic ritual energy.
Oh, yeah.
So I can also move his first post
I'm
on
glad
the
you're
like many of these rituals, you'll need candles in a
listening.
mirror. Items in most
Sorry,
rituals.
it's like
It
a
goes
dark
for this one as well.
kind of
This is the ritual to
stream. My
experience the other
bad.
side. Also, if you don't do this ritual correctly,
My
you
pleasure.
won't need to
Hell
worry
yeah,
about
salute.
possession
I
or anything.
appreciate it.
It just won't work. You may find yourself bumping into more objects than usual or accidentally injuring yourself in a small
Sorry,
way.
this is like a
Nothing too
darker
bad,
type
though.
of stream. We're like
To this
going
ritual,
through all
you'll
the
need a mirror
rituals.
large enough to see your upper torso and be big enough for you to place your
Like,
entire palm.
my bad.
A pitch black room.
I don't
Most rituals
actually
require
like
lighting.
advocate for
A candle,
rituals.
one that is large enough to burn for an hour.
I don't think
and an
people
alarm,
should be
and
doing all
finally a
these
place to sleep.
rituals.
First things first, make sure that the room you have chosen is pitch black. No lights.
Dude,
or
I would
windows,
never
cell
even
phones,
do
laptops,
none
or
of
even small
these
chargers.
fucking rituals. Like,
No light can come into
unbelievable.
this room at all, or it won't work.
This is what they're
If you pop up your
actually
candle
doing
somehow,
if you're
the
like
candle needs to be
claiming they're
behind you
doing
during the
other
ritual.
rituals.
It needs to be able to give enough light to the room to make out details, but
Unbelievable.
must remain
Are you
behind
guys hearing this shit?
A good option
Can
is to
anybody
make a
hear
shape
the
if you look
creepy
on that.
pasta?
Next, you should get around 2 hours of sleep. You
The
want to be in
fuck?
that just waking up state as you conduct the ritual. In this state, you'll be more likely to recognize paranormal events and experience all the other side has to offer. To start the ritual, wake up and enter the desired room.
Oh my
Light the candle and
God.
place it behind you so the flame can't be seen in the mirror. Make sure you are facing the mirror and place your hand against it. Your palm and the bottom of your fingers must touch the glass. Make eye contact with your reflection and don't let go.
Don't make me start playing like
slow, and then let it out.
research videos from
Get into a
World War
rhythm with
III.
your breathing. And that's the final step of the ritual.
Like, Jesus
You may
Christ.
start to feel the glass wriggle beneath where your palm is placed, or start to see distortions in your own face. Some claim to see the face of a loved one who has already passed. The effects aren't just limited to touch and sight, though. You may hear voices and whispers coming from the mirror. Sometimes it will sound almost mechanical in nature. And sometimes you'll even hear music playing, and you're not sure from where. In extreme cases, some have claimed to have seen their scenery change. They also claim to see others in the reflection besides themselves. Don't worry, these are only extreme cases. To end the ritual, simply return to normal breathing and close your eyes for a moment. Open them, turn the lights, and put out your candle. Now the ritual is over. Easy to start, easy to end. Local matters. Who you hire.
What ritual exactly are they doing? Like, fucking, like, unbelievable.
A final note of warning, do not do this ritual using a reflective window. Do not do this ritual with a pitch black window or glass door behind you. Mirrors are safe since you can see everything in the mirror, and whatever's on the other side can only see you. Windows and doorways, on the other hand, well, those can be opened. This ritual is incredibly straightforward. You barely need any items, and almost anyone can do it. It seems like the whole premise of this ritual is to be easy enough for anyone to try. I don't really recommend it, though. The final piece about doorways are cool for some added spooks. If not, then it would be just a cool novelty and not really a creepy story. Most people probably wouldn't think this story is very creepy to begin with, though. It kind of lacks real thrills. It's just another ritual pasta story in a sea of internet rituals. At least it's written pretty well.
What kind of ritual are you guys doing this evening? 7 Gates of Hell ritual? Really? Jesus Christ.
7 Gates of Hell is a ritual pasta that appeared on the Creepypasta Wiki in 2012. It was posted by user Xerox. The story is focused on a Halloween night ritual. If you walk past 7 black gates
I
on
haven't
Halloween
even
night,
listened to
when you fall
this
asleep,
yet,
you'll start to
actually.
see
I
the
don't
gates
even
of
know
hell.
what they're talking
Of course, you
about.
only see them if you know this ritual exists, and now you do.
It is
Also, Halloween
Anton
rituals are
LaVey.
actually not as prominent as you might think. After you pass the 7th gate, you'll see him. A tall and bulky man will stand before
Dude, the
you.
quack was trying to fucking
His hands look
fraud
frail and his eyes are
Anton
wrinkled. He will
LaVey's
say welcome to the 7
fucking
gates of hell with a
significant
chuckle.
other or whatever. Like,
You will then proceed to the 7 layers
some
of
shit
hell.
like that.
The first will have fire and brimstone. This layer belongs to the souls of those that have passed and didn't receive a proper burial. The second layer
They're
has
like
people being
lying
tortured
about
in
the
the ways that
Church
they
of
tortured
Satan
others
and
in life.
Anton LaVey.
The
Like,
imagery here includes many medieval torture devices. This will lead to the third layer, which belongs to those that have taken their own lives. The fourth layer is for those that abuse their power. Politicians, leaders, those in charge that abuse their followers all rest here. The fifth layer belongs to those that defiled others, and they receive the same punishment as what they've done. Layer 6 is for the murderers. They were all being murdered in the same way they'd done their victims. And the final layer is for the mass murderers, and those that had conducted great atrocities. This story ends with the narrator becoming that old man gatekeeper that we saw in the beginning. I don't really know where to start with this pasta. It's not very good. The uses of the layers of hell is interesting, but the ritual isn't explained very well at all. I'm also not a fan of how the narrator transforms at the end. It's just kind of odd, and the way it was worded made it seem like a last-minute decision. It's not very scary and really lacks a story. It just has some gruesome imagery. Lights Out, Light Switch, Lights Off, or Room Wars is a game ritual that can be played in just about any home. Lights Out, a beginner's guide, was, as far as I can tell, a ritual pasta that was uploaded to creepypasta.com in 2017. I can't find any mentions of its origins anywhere else on the internet. Let's look at the ritual. Supposedly, Lights Out has been played since the invention of the light bulb. The original author of this article on Lights Out advises those from playing it, unless they know the inherent risk. Of course, that risk is something we'll go over in a minute. Note also, this game can bring you your desires, so if you're wondering why anyone would attempt this, that's why. It is advised that you do not play this game if you have a pre-existing medical condition, are elderly, a child, or are pregnant. The objective of this game is pretty simple. 2 players will try to either turn on all of the lights in the house, or turn off all the lights in the house. Each player is in charge of either lights on or lights off. The player that successfully gets the lights on or off wins. Not so hard sounding, right? Well, there's more rules to it than that. It has to be a house with at least 8 rooms. The house can have more, but it must have an equal amount of rooms with lights. Even though this is a 2-player game, you will be the only one playing. That's not to say that there isn't a player 2. Player 2 is an entity that you must summon. Once summoned, you will then challenge it to the Lights Out game. First, let's get to the rules. The game may only be played between the hours of 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. The play area must have at least 8 rooms. Like I mentioned before, the game must be played alone. The game has to start with an even number of rooms with lights on and lights off. The game cannot end until one player wins, and devices that would make it easier to turn on or off the lights are strictly forbidden. To start the game, you need to first pick a time. Any time between the hours I listed before will do. Do know that the time does matter, as the game gets harder the closer it gets to 4 a.m. This means if you want an easier experience, start the game at exactly midnight. Next, you need to make sure every window and door that leads outside of the home is shut and locked. You also need a personal item. This item won't be sacrificed or anything, but it should still be personal to you. Place the item in the room that you wish the entity to start in. Make sure the light is off in that room too, so it knows that it's the lights off player.
Why do you guys
think
that they do this
it's
type
kind of
of
hard
shit?
to get around.
Like, why do they do it?
Turn lights on in an
What do you
even
guys
amount
think?
of rooms to the ones that are off.
What do you think, Melissa Trust? Like, why the fuck are they even doing this at all? How come they're doing all these rituals? Like, what the fuck is this? Unbelievable. They all these rituals.
Even amount of rooms to the ones that are off, and you're just about ready to start. Write down your desire on a piece of paper. Note that your desires should be something that you could feasibly attain. Things like raising the dead, time travel, and unassisted flight will be impossible. Your desires should be something you could actually obtain. Now place a piece of paper with your desire in the room that you wish to start in. Now you'll summon player 2. Once summoned, you'll have 60 seconds to make it back to your starting room. The lights will flicker one time, signaling the start of the game. This will happen again when the game is complete. Don't worry about the flickering unless it happens more than once. That means it's probably mechanical, and you should look into that. Once the game is started, a light should immediately turn off around you. You'll need to run and start turning lights on as quickly as possible. You won't see player 2. You'll just feel their presence. Notice that the longer that the game goes on, the quicker the entity will be turning the lights off. The game will end when the lights have all been turned on or off. If you won, congrats. You'll find that the piece of paper you left behind is now gone. Now, you can't just sit back and wait for your desire to happen. Instead, you will be given more opportunities to make that desire a reality. It'll make reaching your goals easier. Now, if you lose, there's not much known about what will happen. That is because those that lose are never around to be asked about what happened. There have been instances of losers being found at the bottom of steps dead, or just never heard from again. It is a common theory that a lot of losers decided to go out on their own terms, and that's why they're never heard from again. Another theory says that the losers are then fated to become the next player too.
The losers.
This ritual is definitely a ritual pasta. It has all the markings of a decent story, though. A lot of what makes a ritual pasta interesting is the risk-reward loop. This story offers you a reward that most would take it up on, and the game is easy enough to follow. I will say that this being posted in 2017 is probably why I hadn't heard of it initially. 2017 was kind of when creepypastas were losing their spark. The whole genre as a whole had suffered some massive blows to their popularity, for reasons I'll discuss in a different video. The story is good though. I even think that the game could be fun without the ritual aspect. Might be hard to play without running into another player though.
Protection against A boom, a boom, a boom, a boom, a bummy.
For this next ritual, we're going back to Japan. Japan truly does have some of the more interesting urban legend rituals. This one is about how to protect yourself from ubume. Ubume is a Japanese yokai, or ghost. This yokai is the ghost of a woman who has died in childbirth, or the child has died in the mother's womb, and now haunts delivery rooms.
Holy shit.
Ubume was left in limbo due to never being able to hold her child. Ubume can appear as a woman carrying a swaddled infant and is seen wearing either a red or blood-soaked skirt only.
Yikes.
In some variations of Ubume, she is seen as a wandering ghost that is carrying a child and will ask passerbys if they can hold her baby. If the passerbys accept, they will notice a gradual change in the baby's weight and will then see if the baby has become nothing but a swaddled boulder or a bunch of rocks. In order for Ubume to not steal your child, there's a small ritual. You must make sure that your hospital hands your baby to you immediately after birth. If mold appears in a delivery room, this means that Ubume is present and is waiting for your baby to be born. The mother's hold over her baby is much too powerful for Ubume, so she will not interfere. Even if the child, mother, or even both pass, the doctor must place the child in the mother's arms. This is so they will not end up like Ubume. Ubume will even go as far as to physically attack mothers if the child is not delivered. A C-section must be performed to ensure that no matter what, your baby is delivered, and you will not become an Ubume. The ritual is rather different from the ones we've discussed before. The urban legend attached to it is pretty interesting and really shows how important holding your child for the first time is.
I ain't doing shit for J4. The 6 streets ritual? Really? The 6 streets? 6 streets
The
ritual?
6 Streets ritual is one of the hardest rituals on this iceberg. It deals with loads of simple to break rules that could lead to an eternity of torment. The risk versus reward here is a bit outlandish, but it promises you anything you could ever want. The first instance of this ritual was on r/no sleep, but it has been removed since. I don't know the exact reason for its removal. Since its removal, there's not many ways to come across this ritual online. Most of the links I found led to dead pages, so it's not archived all that well. I had to listen to a narrator read me the story, just so I could research it. Shout out to Lighthouse Horror for covering this ritual, or else I would have known it. To start the 6 street ritual, you'll need to find a still street. There can be no movement in sight. There also needs to be a clear sky with a crescent moon above. And finally, it needs to be between 2 and 3 a.m. Once you've entered, time will stop. This ritual doesn't need to be done alone, but it is advised that you do come alone. The group's mistakes will become your mistakes, so it is recommended that you do this alone. Step onto your street and take a deep breath. Begin to walk and start humming. When you reach the next street, look up and see if the moon is gone. You'll have officially entered the 6 streets. The moon is gone. You'll have officially entered the 6 streets. You'll begin down the first street. On the first street, you cannot speak. You'll see a zigzag group of people standing along the street. They'll be frozen, but their eyes and mouths are following you. The people will start to talk to you. They'll say or do anything to try and get you to speak. You'll likely see your parents or someone else that you're close to. They'll be standing there, one person looking sad and reaching for a hug, and the other looking terrified. Behind them stands a 3-meter tall creature with black eyes. That is their true form, and they are waiting for you to speak. Once you've made your way past them, you'll start to hear them crying. You still can't talk here. If you even make a sound, the creatures will be on you in seconds. They'll begin to devour you, not even changing back to their regular forms. You'll be ripped apart by the faces of your loved ones. The second street will start as soon as you hear a train behind you. You start running as soon as you hear it. Behind you will be a woman, or someone who used to be. Her face is rotting and her hair has dead maggots and rodents living in it. Whatever you do not look at her. She is the first ever player of the 6th Streets ritual. She is the first loser of it. You need to run to 3rd Street as quickly as you can. If you do look at her, you'll hear her laugh. You are now trapped in a loop of streets and can never leave the 2nd Street. You'll die of dehydration, and then you'll be alive and running through the streets all over again. The 3rd Street will look like a road going through the forest. You are on the right street, so don't worry about that. This street is a very different requirement. In 10 minutes, the creature will appear and begin to look for you. You can't run and you must hide from it for a set period of time. You'll have 10 more minutes to hide. The creature is big and lumbering. It has poor hearing but great eyesight. The creature is not visible to you. You can only hear it knocking over trees and searching for you. You cannot be found. As long as you hear it moving, then you know you're safe. If all of a sudden everything goes quiet, then it has found you. It will be staring silently at you. You'll hear it scratching at its neck. Next thing you know, your neck will start to itch too. A strong and insatiable itch that feels like tiny bugs are wiggling around your collar. You've become a creature, and now it is your job to find someone and ruin their chances at completing the 6 streets. If you aren't seen and make it to the other side of the forest after the 10 minutes is up, you'll hear the creature crying somewhere in the distance. It has to continue its fate of being a monster, and you get to go on with your journey. On the 4th Street, everything will be pitch black. You need to continue walking straight. You get to the end of the street in under 3 minutes. Do not get lost. You won't be alone during this part, as tall white creatures with long black fingers will be poking at you in an attempt to make you lose your way. The creatures will stand in your way. They will stare at you. You might even walk into one of them. Eventually, you'll feel a caterpillar under your tongue. You can't spit it out. You must continue moving forward. If you fail to reach the next street in 3 minutes, then the once silent creatures will begin shrieking. The shock will send you to the ground immediately. They will then grab you and wriggle their fingers around your arms, legs, and neck. They'll begin to strangle you. If you get to the end of the street, you'll finally be able to spit out that caterpillar. You made it to the 5th Street, and you're almost done. This street represents you with a baby on a white plate. You have to eat the baby, and leave nothing but the bones and teeth. Just remember that the baby isn't real, and you should be able to do it. At the end, you'll see the creatures again, and they'll be smiling at you. They know that even though you are at the end, you'll likely still won't complete the ritual. You are at the final test now. The final street will have a small wooden chair. You need to sit in it. It'll creak as you do, but pay it no mind. Now you'll need to close your eyes. For 1 minute, you will feel the most excruciating pain. Imagine the biggest pain you've ever felt in your entire life and multiply it by 100. You need to push through it. No matter what, you must not open your eyes. Even when a voice starts to speak to you, the voice will tell you that you've won, even if the minute is not over. Push through the voice, push through the pain, and push until you make your desire a reality. The minute has concluded, and you've won the 6 Streets ritual. Whatever it is that you desire, you can tell your host, and he will grant it. If you want to fall in love, a person will come into your life that is perfect for you. If you crave power, you'll find it in the most direct way. Whatever it is you craved, you'll have. That is the reward of the 6 Streets ritual. Whatever your heart desires is attainable here, even if what you want would be devastating to someone else. After all, if they wanted it just as bad, then they could also do the 6 Streets ritual. Most people don't just have one desire. You completed this ritual once, so you could probably do it again. After all, how many desires should one person attain in a lifetime?
Guys, where are we?
The ritual is actually really interesting and far more involved than a lot of the ones I've covered so far. I really like the story right up until the end. I kind of skipped this part, but at the end, the narrator of the 6 Streets ritual tells us that he is Raphael, an angel, and he created the 6 Streets because he was bored. I just can't really get involved with the ending. Everything else leading up to it's cool. I love how each street is varied and the dangers that you'll face. It really makes the story feel like a huge risk for whatever reward you are after. Besides the ending, the ritual isn't bad. I was hooked on the story until the end. I would love for this story to be archived, though. It really needs to be in some forms more than a narration.
I'm sorry, Melissa and everyone else who is on my stream. I don't really feel like talking too much. Like, it's self-explanatory what I'm showing. Like, there's literally the doorway to Serenity ritual. There's all these kind of rituals, and like that's unbelievable.
Serenity is our first story starting off this tier. It was
Unbelievable.
uploaded to the Creepypasta Wiki by user XR Wood. It was written and posted for a Halloween story contest, in which it took first place. Doorway to Serenity opens up with two men having a conversation at the lake with some beers. Our narrator is a man named Ethan, and he is talking to his friend John. The conversation is about John's mother recently passing away. Ethan notes how John was upset because he didn't say anything to his mom before her passing, but he had recently seemed to be doing much better. Ethan asks him about it, and John takes a sip of his beer before starting his story. John explains that he was able to make things right in a very unbelievable way. Ethan sipped his beer while listening. John seemed to be testing Ethan for whether he should even tell him or not. After a little prodding by Ethan, John continued his story. He had found a doorway. Before Ethan could really ask any questions, John continued. A doorway to a memory. One that gives the ability to change a memory. Ethan, of course, didn't believe his friend actually knew a way to change a memory. That's impossible. John doesn't sound like he's lying, Ethan notes, but he still finds it incredibly hard to believe. The story then shifts to John grilling Ethan about someone named Peter. Peter was a friend of Ethan's who was now in a vegetative state after trying to take his own life. Ethan says that he wasn't his friend, but John notes that he seemed to become depressed after this event. John tells his friend that he should try the doorway and reaffirms that it actually works. 2 weeks pass and Ethan finds himself ready to try and conduct the Doorway to Serenity ritual. He didn't quite believe John, but if it didn't work, it wouldn't really be his problem anymore. Ethan looked at the scribbled notes of his friend. The ritual needed to be conducted at the pier. As John noted, it looked kind of like a doorway. This would act as a path into his memory. It also meant swimming was involved, which at night could be especially dangerous. The waves could get out of hand, not to mention that sharks roamed the waters near the pier. The first step for the ritual was to make sure that the waves were at least shoulder high. Step 2 required it be a full moon, and he had to swim at night. The third step was to swim through all 13 columns on the right side of the pier, then swim back inside the pier. Finally, he would have to swim out of the columns, like he was entering the doorway. The night of the ritual came, and Ethan noted that he wasn't alone at night, as divers seemed to be in the area. He steadied himself and began the ritual. The waves were indeed harder to swim through than he expected, but he was on the swim team in high school, so he could handle them for the most part. Ethan bounced around the waves, moving between the pillars with relative ease. Eventually, he found himself bumping into one of them rather hard. He wasn't worried about a concussion and just kept swimming. Eventually, he swam through the doorway and started to see his vision fading. When he came to, he was back on land. He was wearing a bunny costume, and he was 10 years old again. John had been telling the truth. You really could relive a memory. He knew what memory this was and knew exactly what he had to do, so he grabbed his sack of candy and was on his way. It was Halloween, and he was about to see an old friend. Today, Ethan was meeting up with Peter. He found Peter, and the first thing he did was scare him. Ethan noted how weak the poor boy was, and how he lacked any kind of spine, which is why they were out there that night. The plan was to do some fake ritual to make Peter become stronger. Ethan knew it wouldn't work, based on his memories. Either way, the two still made their way into the woods. The ritual started, and Ethan pulled out a large knife. He had Peter lay on the ground and did some kind of ritual while standing over him. He plunged the knife down, and Peter started to cry. The knife landed firmly in the dirt next to the boy's head. The two stayed like that for a moment. Ethan sighed and pulled the knife from the ground. He looked down at the crying boy. Ethan put the knife to his throat and sliced it clean across. The gurgling sounds of Peter trying to cry and breathe continued. Ethan watched as Peter bled out on the ground. He didn't give any hint of emotion. Once he was sure he was dead, he grabbed his stuff and put it in the back of his sack. He took it to a nearby overpass and threw it over the edge. He could hear coyotes near where he had left Peter's body. Ethan awoke fighting for his breath. He had nearly drowned and was now being helped by one of the divers that he'd seen before. She asked if he was okay, and he smiled and said he was finally okay. I can see why this creepypasta won that contest. This is a really good ritual pasta. It sets up the characters really well and delivers on their stories. The starting section is a little slow, but it fits perfectly with how the story is being told. Ethan has some weird connection to Peter. He feels bad for him, but there's definitely something else there. John's story with his mom is really well done too. The ritual itself is something very unique. It's not so easy that anyone could do it, but it's
I'm
not so
just
hard
trying
that
to
it
see
couldn't be
if they have
done.
the Star
The reward is
movie
the ability
ritual.
to change a memory, which is pretty cool. It also never states if you're supposed to change the memory for the better or the worse.
Or if they
The
have a
ending is vague and creepy.
Gematria
This is a good
ritual.
story, and I highly recommend people
I'm
check it
trying
out.
to check or double check if they have if they have a fucking Jesuit Gematria ritual. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. The fuck? Which one of these rituals is the Jesuits doing Gematria? Like, fuck out of here. Doing it. They're Jesuits are doing the ritual. Okay, which one?
The next story in this tier is Lucifer's Playlist. This story was created by W.C.
Unbelievable.
Hotchkiss.
Lucifer's
It's about a playlist that can be found
ritual.
online. The only place I'm able to find this creepypasta is on Mr. Creepypasta's YouTube channel as well.
So, I
As
wonder
on his
if they
SoundCloud
got
profile.
Jesuits doing
It looks to
Gematria
have
on
started
there.
circulating in 2015. The creepypasta is told through a character named Lucifer, not the devil or Satan, as the voice protests.
It's probably
They're two
quackers.
completely different beings, though he does note that he has very similar tastes. Lucifer explains that he has a playlist full of information. He claims that knowledge gives him power, but also sustains him. He originated from the mind of a witch, the writings of an author, and the voice of a narrator. He claims to be a virus or a curse, but really he is just a playlist found in the darkest corners of the internet. Lucifer loves to play games, not too dissimilar from the devil. His game is simple. You will find all sorts of sections in the playlist that will give you answers to any questions you might have. You can learn what the meaning of life is, how to find true love, or how to dismember a human body. These are just a few of the playlist options available to you. Of course, you can't just listen to whatever you want without payment. A trade of knowledge is required for whatever it is you desire. You can listen to whatever you want, but you must add something to the playlist. So what's stopping you from listening to the whole playlist without payment? Lucifer lists off several things that will happen to you. He'll enter your head, start to twist you, start to siphon off your knowledge and sanity until you're nothing but a husk. Lucifer continues explaining where you can find his playlist. He states that he is being found in more and more places lately. It used to be found on the deep web, but now his file is being shared around even more. The easiest place to find him is on the dead body of someone who decided they wanted all of the knowledge with none of the payment. Lucifer's playlist gives off the vibes of an easy-to-find channel infinity. It offers any knowledge you could ever want without the long and tedious ritual. The price being that you have to add to the playlist anything that you receive. It never stated exactly what kind of knowledge trade is required, though. Could I just use my very extensive knowledge of internet folklore as tribute? I'm not sure if it would really want that. This story was kind of hard to find. I can only find the narrations by Mr. Creepypasta, which is pretty funny since the story explicitly states the playlist can be found in any search engine. Overall, I like the pasta. I think the idea is worth checking out. If you find Lucifer's playlist, send it my way. I have an extensive creepypasta lore that I want to pass along. The Stonegate ritual originates from a Reddit post on No Sleep. It was posted by user author JoJo in September of 2019.
Really, the Stonegate
This one hasn't been
ritual?
reposted to the Creepypasta wiki yet, but it has a few narrations on YouTube. The Stonegate ritual is a lot easier to perform than other rituals on this iceberg. It doesn't require much, but it also can't be started by just anyone. The ritual will appear before people, and it's up to them to decide if they want to undertake it or not. The ritual doesn't actually require a stone gate. It's actually something you can encounter while walking a path or trail. A road of any kind will do. You'll happen upon two semi-identical stones. The two stones will sit on either side of the road.
Yeah, don't
One
stay
will
on
be
my
much shinier than
channel
the
right
other.
now unless
The
you want to
colors
hear
won't be the
some
same, but they will
fucking
both have
like
that
straight
same
fuck
smooth and flat
shit.
look.
This
To
shit's
start the
fucked
ritual, you
up.
simply need to walk over to
This
either
is like
stone and pick it
actually
up.
explaining,
The stones
like
will feel smooth in
describing
your
how
hand.
to do the
You'll notice that
ritual.
they are completely clean. No dirt, no scratches, nothing. Once you have either stone, you'll feel a need to make your way over to the other
Kick
stone.
rocks
As
off
you
my
do so,
channel
roll
if
around
you
trying
don't
to
want
search
to
this
hear
stone
the
in this
fucking
colored
real
form.
deal
The stone
thing
will start
of
to feel
whatever the
heavy.
fuck you
The
guys
heaviest
are
object you ever carried in your
conspiracy
life.
theorists have
Each
been
step will be
talking
agonizing
about.
as the stone will increase weight. You have to
These
keep
are all the
stepping on the stone.
rituals.
The world around you
The
will lose
fuck?
all
Fuck
vibrance
out of
until it
here.
appears to be just white lines in a void. Those lines will come together and create something. That thing will watch you as you cross over to the other stone. Just as you feel like you can't carry anymore, You'll
How
reach
do
the
we know
stone,
you're not
the way
doing
your
a
current stone is back to
Gematria
normal.
ritual and you're trying to
The world
fraud?
around you is now back to normal as well. The pain you felt from carrying the stone will remain, but everything else is as it should be. So that's it then. Well, not quite. You've completed the stone gate ritual. The being that was watching you is now gone, and all of a sudden your luck seems to have picked up. You got that promotion, people are giving you more attention now, and you seem to be getting better at different hobbies you had. You continue to walk down the paths you had before and notice the stones again. You ignore them, not wanting to do that again. But notice that your life is starting to stagnate. All your luck is starting to fade, and you're back to life as it was before. Well, not exactly. Because the good luck is starting to turn into bad luck. Every time you walk by the stones, you'll notice a faint outline of the creature from before watching you. It'll only last for a few fading moments, and then you're back to reality. No matter what you try, nothing will work out as you expected it would have if you hadn't done the ritual. As you try the ritual again, you'll notice that the rock you've picked up keeps getting lighter. It eventually gets too light for you to stay on the ground and can disappear into the sky. If this is to happen, you'll be met with incredible amounts of bad luck. Losing your job, failed marriages, or other mishaps will litter your life. The only chance you'll have is to try it again. It's a gamble every time you attempt this ritual. Sometimes you get the heavy rock and sometimes the light. Each one will either give you good luck or present you with the option of not getting bad luck. You can skip the ritual altogether, but every time you do, the creature will last a bit longer in your vision. Most likely it'll do this until it lasts long enough to get you. I've read a lot of these rituals by now, and something about this one really intrigues me. The Stone Gate ritual is the one that offers you a lot, but if you try it, you'll never escape it. It's something you have to come back to over and over again or lose everything. This presents an interesting dilemma of being attached to the ritual for the rest of your life, whether you live long enough to see a natural end or whether the creature brings it to you. I love the imagery used here, and the vagueness of the creature is also great.
The stranger ritual, really? Jesus Christ. Really? They got all these fucking different... Dude, really? They got all these fucking different rituals? Really? Really?
The stranger ritual is pretty short, so I'll be reading it in full before talking about it. Have you ever heard about the stranger ritual? No? Well, perhaps that's good. Perhaps you're safe for not knowing, and perhaps I shouldn't tell you. Seeing as how this ritual can be a little dangerous. Still want to know? Very well, I'll tell you. The stranger ritual is a ritual that allows you to contact something from outside this world, something beyond the limits of human understanding. Some say that the ritual allows you to contact death itself. In order to perform this ritual, you'll need a few things. First, you'll need a door, preferably a wooden door. It cannot have any windows or peepholes on it, and it must have a lock. Next, you'll need 2 candles, one white and one black. Then you'll need a gift. It's important that the gift not be something you have a personal connection to. It is advised to offer something that you have bought that day. Candy seems to be a wise choice. Then you'll need a piece of chalk or some other writing instrument. Chalk is probably the best choice, though. Finally, you'll need a photo of another person. It has to be one you've taken yourself, and the more recent the photo, the better. It cannot be a photo of anyone from your immediate family. You'll need to wait until night falls before you can do the ritual, and although it can be done at any time of night, it is more likely to succeed the closer it is to midnight. Write the word stranger on the door you're using. Then place the 2 candles on either side of the door frame and light them. Now make sure all the curtains in the house are pulled, all the windows are closed, all the mirrors are covered, and all the lights are turned off. You must also be alone in the house for this ritual to be done successfully. Stand in front of the door and place your gift, just out of the range of the door so that when it opens, it will not hit or knock the gift over. This will also mark your safe zone. Make sure the door is closed. Then knock 3 times, no more, no less. Then wait. If you hear 3 knocks coming from the other side of the door, the ritual was successful. Open the door, but do not open it fully or look outside. Open it a little and then turn around and stand behind your gift facing away from the door. You should hear the door open fully and you will feel the stranger's presence. It will feel wrong, like something that isn't supposed to be there. Stay calm, the stranger is your guest, so you will not be harmed. Under no circumstances must you turn around or look at the stranger. This is important. Some have dared to look at the stranger, and the ones that survive go completely blind or completely insane. But they always say that the stranger's presence never goes away. If you look at the stranger, then the stranger will never leave. If the stranger approves of your gift, then it will ask you for a name. This is when you must look at the photo and say the name of the person in the photo. Then wait until you hear the door close. Once the door is closed and you no longer feel the stranger's presence, you may turn around. If the ritual is successful,
All right.
your gift
Anyways,
should be gone.
whatever. You
You
get
must
the
lock the
point.
door.
I'm up out of
Do not
here.
unlock it until
Fuck
sunrise.
off. We're
This will
before.
prevent you from
It's
entering the
before
stranger's world,
12.
and anything from
It's
there
before the
getting into this
witching
world.
hour.
You must also wipe the word stranger from
Wake
the door.
up and do gematria if you're babysitting, you
If you are
fucking
too
quack.
offended
Fuck
the
out of
ritual,
here.
simply
Unbelievable.
apologize and ask the
Fuck
stranger to
off.
leave. Wait until you hear the door close, then turn around.
Peace and
Wipe
love,
away the word
everyone.
stranger from the door and lock it.
You guys get
Do
the
not
point.
unlock it until sunrise. Should you do this, never attempt the ritual again,